What's up, guys? This is Justin from For the Record Podcast. Just a really quick disclaimer. We're handling a couple in-house issues this week, so what we're giving to you is an episode from our back catalog, which is the audio quality would be completely fine. This actually might be from when we were in the first studio, but I mean, it's still great. But you will probably hear some, like, not outdated content as far as the topics themselves go, but just outdated content as far as like we will be talking about where we're at in our lives, those are spaces that we were in, not spaces that we are in currently. So hope you enjoy the episode. We'll be back as soon as we can.
One of your hosts, Erica Green, the podcast princess.
And I'm JoAnn, the realist.
Yes.
I'm Justin the Grouch.
And I'm Darian, fine as wine.
First of all, we have all updated our contacts as like our names on the show. So like, names. So like Darian in my phone is now fine as wine. Justin is Justin the Grouch. Yeah. JoAnn is JoAnn the realist. Like it's serious.
Yeah. And Erica's podcast princess.
Yes, period. It's serious.
And we all look so good today.
Yes, come on, summertime fine.
Shout out to JoAnn walking in here looking like Erica Badu.
Oh, I've been listening to that song on repeat for like 3 weeks now.
You will. Yeah, go ahead.
No, but shout out to JoAnn for looking like Erica Badu today.
With her headscarf.
Joe came around that corner and I was like, wait a goddamn minute.
You better call Tyrone.
Y'all so stupid.
I miss you. We only do this podcast like twice a week now.
Yeah.
I miss y'all so much.
Yeah, I mean,
the group chat be popping every day.
Yeah, usually.
The group chat be popping.
We don't see each other all the time.
No. I can't wait.
I'm so sad.
I can't wait back for August. Like, really.
We're seeing each other more frequently.
Yeah.
Yes, we can do this
I'm
every
pretty
week.
sure we have a class together now, Erica.
Yes. Ooh.
Oh, y'all are taking that film class, huh? Or not the film class. Is it the production class, right?
No, I don't think it's the
Oh, no, 'cause
production
that's
class. It's probably
what
like
me and you
media
took.
law or
Yeah,
some
something
shit
like that.
Okay.
Probably.
Okay,
yeah. So, because we haven't been here in a minute, little life update. Who wants to go first?
Who would like to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
So last time I was here, I was saying how I couldn't find a job. I was looking for a job. So I had a second interview earlier this week at a gas station near my house. It's not ideal, but it's a job. It's a job. It pays $10 an hour. But something super exciting. I shared this with you guys before.
Oh, yeah.
I am, as of now, the digital media intern for the St. Louis Blues.
Yes, congratulations.
Yeah, so because like for the Justin and JoAnn though, for being in mass comm, you have to get an internship before you graduate. Like it's it's a requirement.
Right.
So it was really stressing me out because I was like, I don't know, listen.
These niggas literally will not let you graduate.
No,
without
and I would be so mad.
No, Justin, have you gotten one yet?
No.
Oh my God.
No.
You need to look for one.
I'm trying not to think about how stressed out I'm gonna be.
And I was too. Like I would be so mad if like the only thing that held me back from graduating is just an internship. Like, are you kidding me?
Like 1 semester worth of an internship.
Right. So it's unpaid, but it's the blues. So
yeah.
And this is how,
it is the blues.
Yes, and this is how good God is, because I feel like I literally, I was talking to God. I was like, yo, I do not want this gas station job like anything else.
Right.
But it actually will work out because the flexibility of the gas station job will allow me to intern at the blues. Like if I had an office job like I wanted to, like as a receptionist, I wouldn't be able to do the blues because it would be like a Monday, Friday, 8 to 5, no wiggle room. But with the gas station, they're pretty flexible. So shout out to God. Look at how God works.
That's how you know you're in the right place right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's my little life update.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Okay, who wants to go next?
I'll go.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so I don't know if you guys saw my Facebook post or not, but I am
Yeah.
now.
I did. I smiled
Facebook.
so big at that Facebook
Come
post.
on, jobs
oh my
on
God.
jobs on jobs.
I know. I was going to say, like, I already have, like, 3 jobs, and here I am taking on another one.
Working woman.
Also, you guys are invited because I'll probably be launching this. I'm working with this woman named Leanne, who actually I ran into at Bossa Nova's maybe a month or so ago, and I was telling her about like the mini jobs I fucking work, right? And she was telling me that she makes pretty good money, like pretty much her salary at her PR job selling like Arbonne products and doing
Now what is
stuff like
Arbonne?
that. So I haven't started like looking into all the products just
Is it
yet.
like It Works, like one of those like
Kind of, but only like we sell like organic healthy things. Like we have like a program for you to start off with, like with healthy eating and stuff like that if you want to like start off doing that kind of stuff. And then obviously we sell makeup, eye creams, and I don't know, fucking shit like that, right?
Right.
But it's a health and wellness company. But I'm excited to start because like I would love to quit one of my jobs or another one of my jobs that I don't really care about. You know what I mean?
I feel you.
And this one is something that I could do from home, and I can help people with issues that they're having
Sure.
if they ever want to like and invest into like not invest, but have a product that they want to use and that kind of thing. So I'm pretty excited about it. And Leanna is really nice. And the first couple of launches that I'm going to do, she's going to run just so I can see how she does it. But I'll be there, and I'm inviting people on Facebook and stuff. But I would love for y'all to come.
Let us put it in the group chat. Let us
I
know.
know, yeah. I think
know.
it'll be on June 9th, which is a Sunday. I don't know if y'all have a lot of things
No,
to
I'm
do
pretty
on
free.
Sundays.
I'm free
I
Sundays.
will clear shit up. I don't care.
Right.
but
We show
basically,
up for
yeah.
our friends.
And-
We show up for our friends.
Yeah,
Period.
it'll be fun, and I don't know how. It'll be at her house though, because my mom she doesn't like a lot of people in her house, so I can't host it, but
I
she'll
feel
be
that.
hosting it.
Right,
I feel
right,
like that's
right.
every like mom. Like
Yeah, I know.
But,
I mean, no, it's my mom's not black, but she might as well be. But
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, I
every-
was gonna say
that's
that's a
every
very black mom.
They
yeah.
don't like
They don't
people.
like a lot of people in their house.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. How's your internship going?
Oh, it's really
At the
cool.
magazine.
It's still really cool. I've gotten to try some good food so far. I set up for Food Truck
Ooh.
Friday, but I didn't get to work it because I had to go into work. I hadn't changed my schedule just yet.
Mm-hmm.
But the next Food Truck Friday we'll have, which I think is in June or July, I'll get to set up, and I'll get to not have like a couple of free meals too from like, the food
Ooh,
trucks.
I've always,
Yeah.
the one in Tower Grove Park, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I've always wanted to go. Maybe I'll make my way down into one of these Food Truck Fridays.
it's supposed to be really fun. It's supposed to
Yeah.
be really good too. And some of the places that they have, like they have Gorilla Street Food. They
Ooh,
have
I love that place.
Mission Taco,
Ooh,
Soul Taco.
Love it. Love both of those places.
Yeah, they
Soul
have
Taco
some.
is crazy.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's good.
They have some really cool places that Food Truck Friday. So I'm
Nice.
interested to try some
Nice,
stuff
nice,
next time.
nice.
One
Yeah.
of these
Congrats.
Fridays, I need to make it to one of those.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
Twilight Tuesday.
No
Yes.
doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yo, this is something random, but you know what we should all do? It's July 9th or sometime in July. You know how in Forest Park they have like those free movies?
Yeah,
Like, on Art Hill.
Oh, I didn't know that.
On Art Hill, they're playing Black Panther.
Oh, period.
And I'm in need for all of us to go.
Period.
Talking about some Wakanda
Wakanda
forever.
Yes.
Oh, I'd love seeing that fucking movie.
Yeah.
I don't care how many times
Me
I've seen
too.
it.
I will watch it.
Same.
Yeah. Okay, who's next?
Love it. Come on, go, Joe. You can go. I think mine is gonna
His a little sad.
bring
so.
the mood down a bit, so I'm gonna let
I
you
mean,
go.
mine's a little sad too.
Oh, well,
Oh,
what is
damn.
it?
Maybe
Yeah.
we should have ended.
Right. Right. What is
Damn.
it?
I know, but I have like two. Like, I'm happy. Me and Katie, we got a kitten, and
Oh.
her name is Ink because she got black fur.
Adorable.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Was it a rescue?
No. Like
Okay.
her aunt had kittens, and
Oh.
we just got one.
Oh, cool. Cool.
Cute.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
What's your
Yeah.
second?
Now, what's the
thing?
sad part?
Yeah, the sad part.
Did she die?
No.
Oh.
Girl.
Well, I don't know.
Right.
Damn, that's fast.
Like they just had it for like a day and
Well,
and
some
30
people,
seconds.
some
You're
people
leaving
are
the shit and
bad
the
with-
kitten gets run over.
Some
Like,
people are bad with animals. I don't know, but go ahead, JoAnn. Knock on
I know.
wood. Go
I don't
ahead.
want anything happening to Ink. That's my little baby.
Oh,
Unless she
ooh.
bites my ankle to
Period.
death, because that's what kittens do.
Oh yeah. No.
Okay, go ahead.
They
What's-
do a lot of scratching and stuff too.
What's the sad part?
But yeah, over the weekend, I had to attend a funeral for my aunt.
Oh, I'm
Oh.
sorry.
So I've been with family and everything's good. We just trying to keep each other
Yeah, keep on keeping
in
on,
good
huh?
spirits.
No, I feel you. No, I'm sorry to hear that. But hopefully, Ink can give you some comfort. You can cuddle up with Ink at night.
There you go.
Ink and Katie.
Whenever
Absolutely.
she feels like cuddling.
Right.
Yeah.
Kittens are so fickle with that shit.
Okay. What happened, Justin?
So in this same vein of family, I spent a couple days in Baltimore with some folks from my dad's side of the family. My cousin Brian graduated from high school. Congratulations!
Shout out to him.
Very proud of you. My family is all kind of over the place around the country or whatever, so I don't see them very often, especially my dad's side. And I just think that I kind of forgot that like motherfuckers be homophobic. And I am queer, and so like, but I'm not out, but I didn't think that I needed to be out necessarily, because I thought that I like had that shit like under control, because like there are pictures of me that you can go see right the fuck now, me wearing makeup. Like if you tried really hard, like you can go see me talking about me being queer, whatever the fuck. So I didn't think it was gonna be that big of an issue. However, I walked into my aunt's house, which I had been in for the first time in ever. 10 minutes in, my cousin goes, "So do you wear that makeup every day?"
I hate snitches. Mind
And I'm
your
like-
business. Mind your business.
I'm like, number one, number one, mind your black ass business.
I'm
I don't
telling
see
you.
you often enough for us to be having
We
this
do not
conversation.
have that kind of relationship, sir.
I don't owe you an explanation for my shit. Number one. Number two, like, y'all seen the pictures of me, the grief pictures or whatever. It's me in gaudy, like very clearly stage makeup, in which it looks like I'm crying black tears. Why the fuck would I be walking down the street like that in my day-to-day life? That's stupid. If I wanted to wear makeup, I would look like Joe right now, right?
Come on, highlight and contour.
Nigga,
Right.
I didn't invent wearing makeup, right? I don't look like a clown on my day-to-day life, like walking down the street or whatever. But so that was kind of the first thing. They were making homophobic comments throughout the weekend or whatever around me, not necessarily in my
Aw.
direction, but one of them made a snide comment about me wearing makeup, and I was just kind of like, okay, cool. On our way back from the and also, like, I got a glimpse into my family has a lot of addiction issues, and that was hard to be around. But so on the plane ride back, I was listening to Solange's When I Get Home, and then I listened to an album called Negro Swan by this artist named Blood Orange, great R&B artist or whatever. But part of the album is narrated by Janet Mock, who is this writer and this black transgender woman or whatever. She narrates the album and explores different themes on the album, one of which is this concept of family, right? And she talks about how family to her is a sense of community, right? It's a place that you can go to without feeling judgment or policing, or or a place that you can go to without feeling like you have to like shrink a part of yourself or pretend or like perform a part of yourself that's like acceptable to everybody else.
It should be.
And I like was sitting in the plane like about to start crying because I realized when she was talking that like my biological family does not fit that mold. I straight up don't feel safe around any of them. I do not feel any sense of like comfort around any of them. I was like on verge of panic attack for 4 days straight because I just didn't fucking know. So I was just kind of like, I've been very reflective and sort of sad for the past like 24 hours just because I am realizing that the family that I thought I had is not the family that I want, nor is it the definition of family that I hold anymore, which is part of the reason why, with the exception of like Darian and like one other person, I do not hang around heterosexual people, like period at all, because they're fucking annoying and they make me feel like lesser than myself. And I'm always feeling like I have to question myself or explain myself, which is not something that I have to do with any of y'all. It was just a weird couple of days in which I had to like justify my own existence without necessarily like, because I didn't come out to them, because it's none of your black ass business. I'm not going to see them again for another decade or so. So I don't owe you shit. Also, like, I have made my sexual identity something that should not have to be questioned, because if you really want to know, all you have to do is look at the images and also listen to the fucking album. I talk very explicitly about being in love with a boy on the shit. You shouldn't be asking me dumbass questions about my sexuality. You should already know. And like, if you have a question, Google it or mind your fucking business. Leave me the fuck out of it. But like, I say that to say like, I am figuring out that my family is y'all. My family consists of the people who I have surrounded myself with that are not necessarily my biological family, right? We can have biological family that is family. My brother is my family, my granny is my family, my mother is my family, but it doesn't always work out like that.
Yeah.
And so yeah, these past couple of days have just been sort of reflecting on what the concept of family means to me.
Yeah.
And y'all are my family. I do genuinely mean that.
I love you
guys.
And I was gonna, and as you were speaking, I was gonna say like family is not always blood. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause
Right.
I can kind of sympathize with you on that. Like my family is great. Like I feel safe at the same time. Like I do feel myself kind of withholding certain parts of myself.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like some of my cousins, like they know I have a podcast, but I've never none of my parents have listened to either of my podcasts. Like none of like you and
Same.
and if all goes well, they will never. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't
Yeah.
feel like explaining stuff. Like at the end, I'm like 22 years old. Why am I explaining myself to you? Like,
But you do feel like you're hiding sometimes.
yeah. So I definitely relate to you on that. But I'm glad because I see y'all as family too. But I don't want to be, it's like I don't want to be the first to say it because I don't know if they feel the same way.
That was what y'all were the first people that I thought about on the plane. I was like, oh, they're my family.
Oh my
because
god!
I have never felt on this podcast like I have had to like shrink
Yeah.
for any of y'all.
Yeah.
You just like, even if I say some wild shit, you're
Yeah.
like, well, it's just Justin.
Yeah, Justin.
Who fucking
Moving
cares?
on.
Right,
My heart
exactly.
is swelling.
I know.
guys.
Exactly.
Come
I
on,
didn't mean
Grouch.
to. I didn't mean to
He's
start
not a
it out
grouch
like
all
that.
the time.
Justin the softy.
Yeah, he could be Justin the Softy today. Okay, well, we'll pick it back up with that first topic. So, as always, I be on social media.
This nigga be on the shade room all the
Yeah.
time.
All the time, scrolling, and I find some interesting stuff, which is good for me, to come up for content for the podcast.
Right.
So I'm going to read the scenario, and then we'll kind of get into what I want to talk about. So, this woman says, "I'm currently dating a man with a baby mama." I hate that word, so I'll say child's mother.
There you go.
Yeah.
I hate the word. I
It's
hate that
Literally
word.
child's mother.
I hate that. Yeah, I just hate that word. But I'm dating a man with a child's mother. We have had many arguments and we do not get along, and she's been extremely disrespectful. She was homeless and at one point with their son and asked me if she can come stay at our house. Am I wrong for saying no to her but letting the child stay? Or should I let them both stay because that's my boyfriend's child's mother?
I want to know what the relationship is between the boyfriend and the child's mother. Though.
Why?
Because
it's very important.
That's very important. Like, do they still have feelings for each other? Do they hate each other? Like, what's his view? Like, is he saying anything to back me up whenever she's being disrespectful
That's
to
true.
me? Because if that's the case, if you're just going to be like, man, I don't know what you want me to
That's
do.
her.
Nah,
That's
fuck
just-
that.
that's
You're
just
supposed to be
Tasha.
over here on my side.
Right.
I'm your woman.
Right.
You can respect your baby mom. Don't get me wrong. Respect her. Don't treat her like dog shit. But at the same time, don't let her sit there and talk to me
Look
like
at
she's
JoAnn's
crazy.
face.
Because JoAnn knows I'm right.
No, JoAnn.
JoAnn has a personal
has
story.
has a personal.
We'll get to you at the end, but go ahead, continue.
But
Darren.
all I'm saying
I'm
is
not sharing
like,
all that personal
oh
stuff.
no,
Okay,
you
you
don't
ain't
have to
got
tell
to.
us.
You ain't got to.
You don't have to tell us. But all I'm saying is that like we talked about this previously,
Mm-hmm.
and I understand both sides because Erica was like, well, I would let her stay. And but first I would help her find the place to
Right,
go.
that's my stance. First of all, I'm going to check. Do you have any aunties, mamas, grandmamas,
Right.
cousins, play aunties, somebody? Like I'm
Right.
First of all, I wouldn't be like, oh yes, come on. Like I'm gonna see if you have anywhere else to stay, and if you really truly have nowhere else to stay, then sure, like you can come over, you can come stay with me. But I'm checking to see like if you have any friends, family members, anybody that you can stay with. Because also when you think about it, you're separating a mother from her child. So you know what I'm saying? So I don't know, but that's just me. I'm the princess. I'm the one who sees things like, oh, everything's gonna be okay. So don't mind me. Don't mind me
Yeah,
at all.
it's okay until you walk in and you find them doing something
But
together.
who says they're gonna be doing that
I mean,
though?
I
Who
don't-
says they're not? Though?
Yeah.
But who says that? But like, who says they are? So like, again, it is
That's
important.
why Darian is
Right.
asking what the nature of the relationship.
No,
is
yeah,
gonna
so
be.
that's so like what let's just say this. Let's say they weren't even in a relationship. Let's just say they had one good night, they weren't even together, and then now they have a child. Like they don't have any feeling. They just had sex one time. You know what I mean?
And it was an oopsie.
Yeah, it was a
But
oopsie.
she's still disrespectful to you regardless.
Yeah.
And now she's asking after she's already been disrespectful multiple times if she can come
Oh, best
live
believe,
there.
hold on.
best believe, before you step foot in my house, we are setting some rules.
The
We are
mom-
having a conversation. Oh, best believe, I'm not just gonna let you walk in with your suitcases. Hey, what up, boo? Oh no, we are having a conversation.
The mother of the child asked the girl if the child could stay after having talked shit.
No, she asked if she and the child could stay.
The child may stay.
Yes, and that's what she's saying. And she said, am I wrong for saying the child can stay but she cannot?
Nah, so
No,
I
right.
love kids,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I, as Whitney Houston said, rest in peace, I believe that children are the future. Your raggedy ass,
oh my
mother
God.
of the child,
Say
you
that
are
again.
you are not the future, nor do you have a bright one. So I don't really too much give a motherfuck where you stay. That's genuine. Like I don't give a fuck.
The child has no issue in between any of this.
Yeah,
Like,
the child. The
No,
children
and,
are
and,
innocent.
and me
But at the
and me
same-
not allowing the child in my house is me punishing the child for having
No,
a piece
yeah.
of shit mother.
The question is not should the child stay. The question is should the child stay. But I get you. But like I always see things from both sides. But at the same time, like
You better get a hotel, nigga.
no. But what if she
Like,
told
where's
us?
she- right, like,
where's
she
the
can't
money?
afford
Why can't
that.
she budget
Hey.
more
She told us
properly?
she can't
That's
afford
not
You
my
should've
problem.
thought about that
She-
before you were a
she
piece
did
of
that
shit to
herself.
me.
Hold on, y'all.
No.
Hold on, y'all. Let's let JoAnn talk about this for a second. What's your
You
take?
do
What
not
would
have to
you
go
do?
as
No, you
far as we
don't.
know you can.
Oh yeah, you don't have to tell us your situation, but I'm saying
Totally
like
fine.
I'm just trying to calm down.
Give us
'cause I
your
got mad
opinion.
listening to this.
yeah, she got like
But
she
yeah.
it's the second time she got mad though.
Who?
Mad at who? Well, I had a previous situation that I won't go into detail.
Okay.
But I'm saying that sometimes people get scarred by relationships, and if this were to happen in the future, I know I personally would not let the child's mother stay because, first of all, why are you being disrespectful? And then you're coming to me asking me for a favor, and out of the goodness of my heart, I should consider your feelings? No, fuck that. What do you mean? Excuse you?
Period.
You can figure it out because adults.
Also, not only that, but like I see both sides in the fact that I would, yes, help her find somewhere to go because I'm not heartless.
Yeah.
But you're not staying here. Sorry, sister. You gotta go somewhere else.
But I get you, and I definitely if you're being disrespectful, especially if you, because I feel strongly when you call me out my name,
There's the line right there.
Like
that's
if
where
you
that's
have
very
called
likely
me a
if she's-
bitch, if you have called me a cunt.
Oh
like,
yeah, no.
Right.
It's very likely too. If
That's
she's talking about she's being
disrespectful.
disrespectful.
Yeah.
That's how it probably
But
went.
just think, at the same time, like let's say the child's mother is staying in some shelter, right? That is still your, the mother of the child. So like
Right.
at the same time, I don't know how well I can sleep at night knowing that the mother's in a that the child's mother.
Right.
Who
I
is
see what you're saying.
who is somebody's mother?
I
Regardless,
can see
regardless
that,
of,
and I love your conscience, but I will sleep. I will
no,
snore.
let me finish. Okay,
No, I know. I see exactly what you're saying.
Because at the same time, regardless of how I feel about you, you are still somebody's mother. You are somebody I care about's child's mother. So like, I get y'all 1,000%, and I'm not saying I'll be like open arms, like, hey boo, welcome. What of course, whatever you want in the fridge. Like, I'm not saying I would do all that, but I'm just saying like I would really think about it. I would see if there's anybody you can stay with. First of all, I would try to connect you somewhere, somehow. But if I can't connect you anywhere, we're going to have a conversation. I'm going to make it clear, like, I will not tolerate any disrespect in my house. The moment you disrespect me, you are gone. This is your one and only chance.
See, I guess that's where it falls apart for me because you have faith in people.
I do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I'm pretty sure
And
I can
that's
see
fair.
this like a week later.
Samesies.
She gonna curse me out, and I'm
And
like,
you're gone. But I gave you that
I'm
warning,
not gonna
though.
give you the chance to fuck
But
up because why would I do that? Let you get comfortable, all settled in, and now I have to feel bad because you're already in there.
I'm not
Like,
feeling bad. But I've like I
I'm
said,
just saying it's awesome time.
if I've had that conversation with you, like, look, you can stay here, but the moment you disrespect me, you're out, and you disrespect me, I told you, so I'm not gonna feel bad when I kick you out. Like, I already told you.
There's like a universal rule. This is in Christianity. This is in like astrology. This is in like a lot of different like ways of thinking or whatever. And it's this concept that like what goes around comes around.
Absolutely.
Right. So what went around is that you treated me like I was subhuman. You called me out of my name. You disrespected my house. You disrespected my blah 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 blah. That's what went around. What's about to come back to your ass? Since you wanted to be a piece of shit, what's coming back to you is homelessness. Sorry. I have nothing to do with that shit, bro. Your child may stay with me for as long as the motherfuck they want to. Yo ass, find somewhere else to live. Somewhere else to go.
There are shelters that you could easily take yourself to, or I can drop you off.
Have y'all been to a shelter though?
What
for
do
real?
that got to do with me, though?
I have seen one.
And
Well, it wasn't the worst thing I'd ever seen.
Oh, JoAnn.
Take that up with the government, my nigga. They should be putting more funding into that bullshit.
My thing, though, is like, I mean, this is not always the case, but depending on where you are, and especially in the Black community, there's somewhere for you to go.
yeah.
Like,
That's what I'm
That's
saying.
a really good point.
Grandmamas,
Right.
play cousins,
Ain't
play
no
aunties.
way. First off, if your grandma is like over here getting mad at your mom because she ain't cook you lunch, she's not gonna leave your ass out on the street.
Hell
Yeah.
nah.
That's different.
Hell nah.
She's,
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
She's gonna let you live there. Your uncle's gonna let you live there. Your play cousin's gonna let you stay a couple nights.
I should be on
You
the
should be
bottom of
fine.
the list.
Right.
No,
I should
yeah.
be the last
I
nigga
shouldn't
you
be an
ask.
option, first of all.
I love JoAnn so much. Don't even think about
Don't even
asking
call me. Lose
Why
my
am
number.
I an
Matter of
option to
fact.
you? You're
Lose
Yeah,
being
no.
like
mother-
me if you're talking to me reckless.
I'm with
What?
JoAnn. Like this situation is completely.
I feel like the only reason she may have asked was because that was her last resort.
option.
This
So-
situation is completely different, by the way, if the child's mother is nice.
Yeah.
If you're
Oh, yeah.
respectful to me, my fucking door is wide the fuck open.
I
Yeah.
got a couch right for you. But
Period.
Yeah.
I'll
Don't
even
get me
go
wrong.
even like for niggas who show me some sort of positivity and affection or whatever the fuck, I give that shit back 1,000-fold, right?
Yeah.
Like we will go out and buy you a new mattress, my nigga. Like I will do whatever the fuck
That's doing a
you
bit
need.
much, but yeah.
Oh, I have a tendency to overextend myself for
He's a giver.
people. I
He's a
really
giver.
am. I'm a giver until
Right.
right.
I like that. I'm a giver until. I like that.
Yeah.
And you've already showed me that you're a piece of
You're
shit.
until.
So like, good fucking luck.
So with the other thing that I kind of want to touch on is, since we're talking about kids and child's mothers, we are all, me, Justin, and Darren are 22. JoAnn is 26. So would y'all
Wait,
date?
I'm still 25. Give me
25.
a
I'm
moment.
sorry.
I knew she was gonna round up.
I'm sorry. She's 25. So would y'all date or would y'all date somebody with a child?
No.
No.
I have.
Is that like
and
a
I
hard
am.
no? Is that like a no? Like a hell to the no? Like
It's a no. It's a no.
It's a no for me, dog.
Listen,
I'm
okay,
just different.
so I will. So for me, for a while it was a hard no, because I don't think I ever want kids in life. So my thought was like, if I don't want kids ever, why would I date somebody with kids? For me, it's still like a no. I would prefer not to, but at the same time, if I meet somebody and like I fall in love or whatever, and you have a kid, like. What I'm gonna do?
What you're saying is true, right? So if
Exactly.
I
I
meet
got
someone,
bamboozled.
yeah, exactly. If I get trapped, if I meet
trapped.
you, yeah, no, completely fucking around. Like if I meet somebody and it's like really going really well, and we're like
You have a
dating
kid?
for 6 whole ass months, and then you're like, I have a child.
6
Okay,
months.
no,
that's a
no,
deal breaker.
no,
Wait a
no,
minute.
no, no.
Niggas
no.
do that though.
No.
Niggas will bury the lead.
That is why you Facebook stalk, my guy. First of all,
Oh no, you're right about
Yeah.
that.
That
You're
and
right.
first of all, also pause when dating somebody with a child. I was gonna get to this later, but I'll just say it now. When dating somebody with a child, if they are not in their child's life, run as fast as you can. Okay, do not,
5,000%.
because first of all, let's say you guys get together, you guys have a child. What's to say that he'll stay with your child if you don't stay with the child he already got?
Yep.
So if you go on Facebook and you say and you know he might have a kid, but you don't see no kind of pictures on his social media,
Yeah.
you know he don't see his kids like that, run as fast as you can.
Yeah.
Okay, but
Okay,
Are you
but
speaking with
that's
experience?
huh?
Are you speaking with experience? You said there
Right.
was so much passion.
That was a lot of
Right.
fervor in that statement of yours.
No. Go ahead,
Darian?
Darren.
I was. Oh, God, you made me forget what I was gonna say.
Sorry.
I didn't say anything.
sorry.
But no, I was just saying, like, what I was saying was like it's like it's a no. I would prefer not to, but like I
matched,
say it. Oh
I
my
matched
God.
with a nigga on Tinder 2.5 months ago. And like we matched, and then I was like swiping through his pictures, and I was like, "Oh my god, he's so fine." And then I was like, "Is that a motherfucking baby?"
that's why you asked. Is that your nephew? Is that your niece?
Unmatch.
Well, you should have asked
ask.
first. Should
I
have
didn't.
asked
I don't
first.
want to. I don't look. Doesn't matter.
That could be his nephew.
We weren't even talking at that point. Like I hadn't sent. No one had sent a message. I was just
you weren't
like,
curious to find out.
didn't give a shit. I was like, because it might be your child, and I don't want to deal with that bullshit.
Oh.
Yeah, I completely understand. And like as we were saying, like say it's different now because like we're all so young. I am allowed to be selfish in the aspect of
Yeah,
I don't
absolutely.
want to be somebody's
Stepmama.
stepmom
I agree.
at 22, and
I
I also
agree.
don't want to deal with anybody's baby mom
Yes.
or mother's child.
Ooh, Tyler
at
Perry
22.
presents.
Right, like I'm not trying to have any type of drama like that. I want my
don't need
relationship
it.
to be us
Smooth
focusing.
sailing. Let's be selfish. Let's go.
Right.
Let's go out on a drop of a hat, not to be like, oh, let me call a babysitter real quick.
Right.
No, I feel
Yeah,
you.
bro.
I feel
Like,
you.
Fuck
I
that.
don't want those issues. I want like our issues to be our issues and not because we have issues because of other
Also,
people.
let me be clear. I said child. Now, if you got kids
Oh!
with an S,
I've never dated someone with
no,
kids.
my nigga,
Oh,
no.
so it's a lot. So you'll go one child.
At this age,
That's enough.
preferably
like,
not.
'cause it's like if you're dating somebody our age who has a child, it's most likely
Eh.
an accident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's not something that
Like-
was planned.
Right. So like first of so at right now 22, I would absolutely know that's not absolutely not what I want to do, but I'm saying like if it happens, I'm not going to be like, "Oh, well, never mind." Like
Right.
you know. But that's not my dream. I don't know anybody who, no matter how old you are, I don't know anybody who goes, "I really want to date somebody with a child." Like I've never heard that before. So
Yeah.
I feel like right now at 22, like no, I do not want to date somebody with a child. But if I meet and fall in love with somebody, that's just what
My
it
answer
is.
is going to drastically change. Like I know it's
The
going to
older you
drastically.
get?
No, it's going to change when I'm 27 because at 27 I've already decided that I want to start having children. So I'm not going to give a shit if you have one.
Well, see, and that's the thing. So, like, the older you get, the odds of you finding somebody with a child is
low.
lower. So that's why I'm trying to
Wait.
find somebody
Or
now.
it's higher.
It's
Yeah,
higher.
it's
It's
higher.
higher. Sorry, it's higher. That's what I'm trying to find somebody
And
now
that's
because
what
I want to
I'm
meet some.
saying.
I want to catch somebody before they mess up and have a kid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I
So-
get that because like I say that now because like I'm 22 and I don't want
Right.
the idea. I don't even like the idea of children. But like if I'm 30 and at that point I want to start having kids and somebody has a child, okay, that's different. I might change my stance. But right now I don't have time. Like
Also-
and the thing is though, I feel like you're not gonna fall in love with somebody that fast. Like,
What is that fast define?
Yeah.
I'm talking about like if y'all are just kind of interested in each other and you know he has a kid. It's easy to be like, I'm not interested in anymore.
Listen. If the man is fine and he smells good and he has
Why are your standards on the floor?
Right.
No, it's not on the floor, but I'm just saying, like, you ever
Because
like,
there's a lot of fine niggas out
Who
here who
smell
smell
nice.
good, but are literal dog
I just
shit.
literally named two. I just literally named two things, but no, yeah, I get what you mean. And also, I feel like for me, this might sound a little petty, but I feel like it depends on the child. Like, if you got a little baby kid, no.
Oh,
Absolutely.
my God.
No,
I
I'm
agree
not.
If
completely.
they're
I'm not-
like if they're in their terrible twos, knocking shit over,
If
pulling
they're
your
in their
hair.
terrible sevens or whatever the
If you
fuck,
just
if
got
they're just a bad
kid,
child,
no. If you got a nice, calm, mild man, I mean, of course, like kids are kids, so they might do stuff
Sure.
periodically. But if you got a baby kid, nah,
I
I'm sorry,
hear
I
you.
can't.
Y'all,
I agree
but the
100%.
thing is
can't.
about this though is that you're risking all chances anyway if you get with a nigga with a child. You know what their child's gonna be like when you get with them.
No, but you have an inkling, right? Because like if y'all are dating and you know you have a child, at some point the nigga's gonna bring that child
Yeah,
around you.
Yeah,
I know that, but at this point, y'all are dating.
true. I see what you mean.
I'm not clear.
Cause she's saying like you haven't met the child yet, so how do you know that it's a baby kid?
I see. So it's,
Because like
it's
that's
a
true.
risk
There's the
inherently.
thing. Here's the thing: is you can't just bring around any girl
No,
to your
yeah,
child.
absolutely not.
When you
Yeah.
because y'all don't know if this is gonna last. Y'all could just be messing around. Y'all could just be going on dates.
Sure.
You're not even his girlfriend yet. He's not gonna bring you around his kid and
No, yeah.
confuse the child.
No, yeah.
So that's what I'm
true.
saying too. Is like if y'all are dating and now you get to see the child.
Yeah.
And it's
A baby,
a monster
a
child.
baby kid,
right?
So if you go on a date with a nigga,
Me, okay.
if you go on a date with a nigga
Uh-huh.
and the date is going quite well or whatever,
Uh-huh.
and like blah blah, like what do you do at home, blah blah. It's like, oh, me and my daughter. What happens then?
I would go ahead.
I would be
You
like,
asked, you asked her.
huh. I would start asking. I'd be like, huh, your daughter. Okay, so I'd be like, oh, how old is the daughter?
Sure.
Where is she at? Does she live with you? Like, how often do you see her?
How old would the kid have to be is another important, because we're 22, so
right.
like realistically speaking, like we could date niggas who have
6-year-olds.
children. Yeah.
Yeah, have 6-year-olds.
Or like if they were 16 and we're 22.
Yes.
Is that 6?
Yeah, that's 6.
Okay. Damn. Even
I
older
don't
than that
know.
sometimes.
I don't know. Oh, that's true.
My
I don't
brother is
know.
27 years old. His child is 9.
Wow.
He met. He's dating somebody right now, whose daughter is 13 or 14 years old.
Oh wow.
She's a chunk older than my brother
Okay.
is.
Trying to add it up, huh?
But so I'm just like thinking about. I'm like, oh well. So what am I gonna do at 20? Like at 27, would I be okay with a nigga having a 13-year-old?
No,
like, because
yeah.
I don't like teenagers.
No. And again, I just
I
want to
didn't
be
like myself when I was a teenager.
Yeah,
Okay,
and I just want to make it
okay.
clear. I'm not saying like, yes, oh my God, I want to date somebody with a child. I'm just saying I would prefer not to, like, especially because
Sure.
I don't want kids. I like babies, but after 2 years old, that's when I kind of check out. So, you know what I mean? So, like, it's, I don't prefer to. It's not like I'm like, I really want to date somebody with a child, but at the same time, like, if I meet somebody, the connection is there, I really like you, you like me, we're all good, and you're great, and you have a baby, or a child, it's like,
I can see what you're saying because like if I were to meet
what happened to me.
someone, say like Tyler and I broke up, and like my next boyfriend I meet wherever, he's like the sweetest guy. He honestly is super nice and everything. And he has like a 2-year-old. I might consider it if I felt like he would be worth it.
Right.
yeah.
Right.
And
If he's not worth it and he's out here and he
Hoeing.
had right and
Got
has
5
a
other
baby
girlfriends.
that he takes
Yeah,
care of,
first of all-
but he disrespects his baby mom. Like,
right.
no, I'm not doing
and
that.
if you got a baby over here and you got a baby over there,
Ooh, yeah,
Right.
no.
Right.
Also,
That's
like,
why I
no
said child.
extra baby mamas.
what does the baby mama act like?
That's
too.
too.
Is very
So
important.
that was gonna be my next point. So I was gonna.
child's mother. Sorry.
I was gonna ask like the relationship. And trust me. Oh, I'm asking questions about you and your child's mother. I'm asking all of the
Oh,
questions because you ain't finna have me out here looking stupid.
Right.
It like if there's a chance that you and your child's mother could get back together at any point, like if you have any kind of feelings or like, tell me. Like
Yeah.
I.
Tell me so I can start making my exit.
No, and yeah, and I can make my own decisions because, like, I feel like if you tell me whatever I make on whatever decision I make is on me. You know what I'm saying? But like, if you don't even give me the opportunity, like,
absolutely.
So,
like, you ask somebody if their baby mama crazy. I mean, child's mother is crazy.
Yes.
And they tell you no. And then you find out, like, actually, she's crazy. She batshit as hell.
Well, because they cannot be crazy to them, but to you, they can be very crazy. But JoAnn, what are your thoughts on this topic? I would love to hear what you have to say.
I'm so unamused by people.
That headscarf is making her act real.
I know.
She came in looking over it.
Real bougie.
It's the heat.
Oh, it's the topic.
No, it's actually the tree that makes me just over it.
The tree?
Oh, wait, are you high?
Oh my God! Wow.
Yeah, that's what she said when she came in. That's what I told you. I was like, Joe's been high all summer.
Oh,
missed that.
Good for you. I'm proud of you.
Mood.
I also would like to
mellow out though. What you guys are saying about this is way more interesting than what I have to say about it, because me and you, we agree on the same thing. Like, I prefer to date people not with children. But like, if I find you and like maybe I don't know right away, like after the first few dates you tell me like it's my fault, maybe I didn't ask. Is that something you ask when you ask somebody that?
No.
How do you even go about being like, you got any children?
Because first of all, just bring it up. Because best believe I will already know. Because best believe before I go on a date with you, I'm looking you up on Facebook. I'm looking you up on Instagram. I probably have added you because
think about when you match on Tinder. You don't just look at those Tinder pictures.
And I'm not
even go on all their social media.
And I'm not even talking about on Tinder, like on dating apps. Like you guys
like
know
on their social media, right?
Yeah, and you guys know my stance. Like I prefer to be at least kind of sort of friends with you before I date you.
Sure.
So best believe, like, and that's part of the reason why I want to be friends with you before I date you, because I already know this information. I already know that you have a child. I already know what your relationship with your child's mother is like. I already know where your child is. Does she stay with you? Does she stay with their mother? You know, I already know all this information. That is why I prefer to be friends with somebody before I date them, because I already know this information prior to going in.
I run background checks on these niggas, bro. I'm probably about to go on a date with this nigga in a couple days. Best believe I already found the nigga on Facebook.
Oh, absolutely.
I found out where he goes, where he graduated from high school and some other shit. Like,
so let me ask y'all this. So let's say you stalk this man on social media. He has no pictures of his child, right? He has no pictures of any children. And then
you were hiding a child, Drake.
And then no. So you stalk this man on social media. You stalk this man or woman. You stalk this man.
What?
What?
That bum ass line from Scorpion where Drake goes, "I'm not with the rah. I am a da."
Right.
And that nigga is supposed to be the greatest rapper alive. Okay.
No, but let's say you go out with you go on a date with a man or a woman, and there are no pictures of any children. You go on a date, and the man's like, "Oh, I have a child," and of course he or she doesn't know you stalked them, so you can't say like, "I didn't see them on social media." Right. But in your head, would you be thinking like, "You have a child, but I didn't see your child on social media"? Would that be a red flag to you or no?
No, not
at
all.
It would just look a little suspicious.
Yeah, I think it would look suspicious.
I think it'd be a little.
Like,
why would you think it is suspicious, Justin?
I'm not sus about that at all.
I might. No.
Okay, but let you know the nigga has a child, though. Justin, what are you doing?
I'm not suspicious about it because I understand the reason for not wanting to put your child's face all over the internet.
Okay.
So I'm gonna call my sister-in-law, even though that's not what our relationship is anymore, because that family is divorced. My sister-in-law just had a child couple months ago or whatever. Actually, that baby, I don't know how fucking old that child is. I have no idea. She looks like an infant though. We went to my like niece's talent show or some bullshit like that a couple weeks ago, and we all took a family picture together at the end of it, and they were like, oh, like my sister-in-law was like putting her face over the baby's so as to hide the baby's face. And I've also seen parents online who will like if they have a picture of themselves and their child happens to be in the picture, they like will censor the baby's face out. Like I understand. I'm not disagreeing with you at all. I think it is incredibly stupid. But
especially if you're not a celebrity. That's
the only time I see that.
But niggas are pedophiles.
True.
Yeah. Niggas are baby thieves.
True.
Yeah. Niggas are a lot of really awful things.
No, you're right.
I understand in this age of the internet where everybody wants to take a picture of every motherfucking thing they do every other 35 seconds. Mm-hmm. The desire to shield, because in 10 years that infant is going to have all 17 social media sites that will be available to her when she gets older. What her mom is doing, and what a lot of parents like to do in this new digital age, is I'm going to shield you from that scrutiny for as long as I possibly can. Mm-hmm. So I'm just not going to I'm either going to block your face out on these fucking posts, or I'm never going to post you online ever. So like I understand generally what y'all are talking about, but I'm not sus if I don't see a nigga's.
So Darren, why would that be suspect to you?
So I understand what Justin's saying now. But like I think I don't know.
Not everybody's responsible like that.
Yeah.
I'm just
Oh,
used to
yeah, no,
seeing
no.
baby
I
people.
completely understand.
Not everybody.
I'm like,
That's
you talking
not
about the responsible route.
Right.
Yeah.
I
That's
love
not the
that.
reason everybody is not posting about their children.
Sure.
Some men probably don't want other women to know that
They
he
got
has a child.
100%.
or children.
Or
Kids
children
with
by
an S.
with moms with an S. Like, you know what I mean?
Ooh.
That's what I'm saying. It's like they don't want you to know that.
No,
And,
yeah.
But my thing is though is like I want to know from the jump.
Oh, absolutely.
If you got kids, if you have baby mamas, if you
Absolutely.
have women in your life still.
Sure,
Absolutely.
sure.
I don't want to be played. I don't want to be surprised by anything coming out the waterworks.
You walk to the man's apartment, he got like a potty training seat
right.
or whatever.
Be like,
The fuck is this?
a pack and play.
right. I was like, oh, you be babysitting?
No. He babysits every other weekend. That's what
Right,
he does.
right.
Oh,
you know,
God.
no, you mean watching your child,
Yeah,
not babysitting.
true.
Oh God, I hate when men say that.
like the television is watching the child, not you.
I fucking hate when men who have children are like, oh yeah, I'm babysitting the kid tonight. I'm like, no, nigga, you're raising your fucking baby.
I've actually never heard that.
Oh, niggas say that all
I've
the
never heard
fucking
that.
time. My brother used to say about my niece. He'd
People
be like,
just
oh yeah, I'm
people
babysitting.
I know just say like, oh, I had my daughter today.
That's
or,
what
I'm
you're
watching
supposed to
my
say
da-
when you have a
yeah.
child.
Yeah.
Men will literally be like, oh no, I'm babysitting tonight. No, the fuck you're not. Like
You're
you
spending quality time with the child you
you
created.
pumped that child into existence, nigga. That's yours.
True.
Explicit.
All right, y'all. So we're gonna move into our next topic, which is super juicy. I'm really excited to get into this. So we talked about the possibility of talking about this on the next podcast, which is this one. So we're gonna talk about religion and like our different thoughts. So
Oh, yeah.
So I don't even know how to start this. So I'm just gonna ask you, I believe in God, yes or no? Why not?
Yes.
Justin?
I don't know.
Yes.
JoAnn? Yes. Okay. Justin, why don't you know?
So I oscillate between. First off, part of the reason why I don't know is because I spent so long as a Christian, and then like I stopped being that, and so now I'm sort of questioning everything. So I oscillate between going between like there is no God, or if there is one, they don't give a fuck about us, or they do and they're really fucking awful, or there is a God, it's just not necessarily the one that I was raised to like be thinking about. Like there might be a God, but I'm praying to the wrong one. So yeah, I'm so religion is so. This is why I love this fucking time, because I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
So I will say I want to take my answer back because I think that
Did
I'm
you say
not
no?
so sure.
She
I
said
said
yes.
I'm
said
not
yes.
so sure that there is a God as much as there is like a
Deity.
deity.
What's the difference?
There, I mean,
Like one is like you can worship
there was
multiple things and
Sure.
not just one person.
sure.
Okay.
Like in a lot of religions, there are multiple
Polytheistic.
gods.
Yeah.
There's not even like one God.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think with there being so many different religions and like different people having different religious backgrounds, I think there are so many possibilities. I think that there could be multiple, there could be one, there could be like Justin said, like a different one than what we perceive there to be. I think I want to believe, okay, so even though I might be like up in the air about like how many gods there are, if there's one God, if there is a God, I think that I believe that there's some place for us to go when we die, at least, whether or not like we're reincarnated, whether or not like we go to heaven or hell, whether or not we come back as someone else, like, you know, or like or even if you're just like in that in between space, because I believe in ghosts. Like I feel like if there are
I do
spirits
as well.
and that
Spiritual.
and they're around, you know, like what's happening? Like are they just in an in between space? Is that where
Right.
we all go when we die? Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? That's the tricky part about it, is like there's so many ifs, there's so many could be's, that I think talking about there being one God is kind of
Restrictive.
yeah, and that's not how it is at all, because there's so many different, like you hear so many different stories from so many different people with religious backgrounds that it's hard to understand like or know for sure, because like we don't actually know.
Also, like the way we've done religion in this country, like I don't think anybody thinks about this too often, right? But like in the timeline of religions, Christianity is like a baby. It's like a very new religion. Jesus was not a Christian. He was a Jewish man, because Judaism was the shit to do like in those times or whatever. Christianity didn't pop off until after that nigga died.
Oh yeah, before Christ.
Yeah, it's the same shit. So like Christianity it wasn't a concept until like within the last 2,000 years or so. So in relation to other shit, I'm like, it's new.
So Joe, what about you?
Well, I don't know. My voice tried to leave me. I found it. But I was raised by my parents, devout Christians, devout Baptist Christians. And my family's from down south Mississippi.
Oh,
Came up here to St. Louis, so all of my family.
Come on, Bible belts.
All of my family. They all believe in the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. That he died for our sins on the cross. And the resurrection and all of these things. And that's all I've been reiterating all of my life. So I just feel that, I don't know, I want to have something to believe in. That's what my grandma believed in before she died. Very fervent in her faith. And my mom to this day, so she goes to church 7 days a week.
Wow, that's a
I
lot.
don't know if I could devote at such time.
That's a lot for me. Like,
so much.
Yeah.
Like, she has endless rehearsals. She's a part of gospel group affiliations around St. Louis.
No, I feel you. I grew up with that life
it's a
too, so
lot.
I feel you.
But, like, I've taken philosophy classes, too. So I've studied all the different religions, and I've been to China. I've seen, like, Buddhist temples. Like, niggas just go to this shit. Like, there aren't any churches over there that I've seen. And just, I believe it's because I was born here. That's why I believe in this religion. Because somewhere else, I could believe in a completely different religion.
Yeah.
So I don't want to talk about anybody's other religion. It's just what I've been conditioned to believe in. So I believe in it.
It's interesting that you say the word conditioned. I kind of want to go dive into that. So do you feel like, because I've said this too.
I agree with you, by the way.
I've said this too. So first of all, let me back up. I do believe in God. I do like.
You're a Christian, correct?
I am. So I was about to say, so like I say I'm a Christian because that's just like the best way to describe it. However, I have been told by you guys and by other people that when people have conversations with me, I do not sound like a typical Christian. Like you know what I mean? Like for me, like I'm not even religious. Like when you even think about it, Jesus wasn't even religious. It's really about the relationship that I have with Jesus. You know what I mean? Like
right.
I can look everywhere I look. There's been so many times in my life and in people, my family's life, friends' life, where it was definitely God. Like I see God. Like even I could walk outside and see a nice sunset. I'd be like, God, that was you. I see you. I got you. You know what I mean? So I do believe in God, kind of. Well, I will say, like JoAnn, my family's Christian. I come from a pastor's family. One of my uncle has a church here in St. Louis, and one of my other uncles has a church in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. My grandma is from Memphis. My grandpa is from Mississippi as well.
Got it.
So,
What part? Are we cousins?
I don't know.
Probably.
Maybe.
Yeah, my family comes from Mississippi too. My grandma's side.
I don't know,
They
but
are Mississippi.
so we have I've been in church my whole life, since it's kind of been like a family affair. Like I said, my uncle has a church in St. Louis, so like my dad was the accountant. He was also the worship leader. He was the drummer. Like my aunt led the youth ministry at one point. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's kind of a family affair.
Wow,
the difference,
that sounds like my family too.
See, but the difference is and of course we're not perfect. Like if y'all knew what happens in pastors' families, child. But
some
no,
of the worst ones.
But the difference is we're not perfect. I'm not trying to make it seem like we're not perfect, but the difference between us is like we actually have real relationships with Jesus. Like it's not like like a Sunday thing, like I gotta worship God because it's God. Like we actually like I'm not gonna say like when I say I talk to God, it's not like it's not like
when you pray.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, so like I have definitely felt like his presence. Like if I'm like, God, like even recently, like because I was really frustrated about like the job thing. I was like, God, like this is stupid. Like why am nobody calling me, blah blah blah. And like just that peace that I feel when I talk to him, because it's really like I'm talking with y'all. Like I could call any of y'all, be like, you know what, like this is stupid, and you guys be like, oh, it's gonna be okay. Just the same thing that you guys do with me, God does with me. So like I feel his presence, like and I'm not perfect. Like I definitely like, I definitely do my own fair share of stuff. I say my fair share of stuff, but it's not about that. Like it's about the relationship, to me. Like I'm not religious. I don't consider myself to be religious, but to me it's about the relationship. So
I understand where you're coming from, but I feel like there are just some like issues with religion that maybe
Sure, absolutely.
I have. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's nothing wrong with feeling like there's someone there for you to talk to and pray to, and I feel like there's no problem having something to believe in, like 100%. Like, I think that's like the positive parts of religion, but there are a lot of negatives
Like
that
what?
also go along with it.
I agree. 'Cause like I said, I'm not religious either, so like you can say like it's whatever.
Well, I'm just saying there are like the judgments that come along with people
Absolutely.
who are not like them. They
Absolutely.
they are. I mean, even though like they are the newest, like you said,
Sure.
Religious background,
It's the biggest ones.
yeah, it's the biggest one, and it's the dominant one. Like it's
That word that you just said is very important.
Yeah, it's the dominant religion. Like, you can literally go anywhere, and if you are a Christian or a Catholic, it is the religion that you get holidays off for. You can talk about it without feeling in danger. You can talk about it without feeling made fun of, or being called a terrorist or things like that. Like, these are like, that's what it's like to have a religious background within the dominant religion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And,
Go ahead.
well, I'm just gonna say, and then there are like homophobic things that
Absolutely.
plays a huge part in it.
My family.
Absolutely.
There are even
My
some like
family.
devout Catholics I've heard talk about not wanting their children to mix interracially because it's against their religion.
Absolutely.
Like, things like that don't make any sense, and you're basing it off of a book that has been paraphrased and rewritten over 3,500 years.
Hey, did y'all know, not to cut you off, Erica, I
Go ahead.
apologize. Did you know that there are like 3 or 4 books out of the Bible that are missing?
Really?
That we just don't.
I
That we
didn't know
just
that.
fucking don't. But also, I'm sure you've read Revelations. Mm-hmm. The last
That's
fucking.
a hard chapter to get through. But go
I love
ahead.
Revelations. Is my favorite shit, bro.
Really?
I can't wait to make a movie out of that.
Why
shit.
do you say that?
Oh, Revelations is crazy. God was
It's
wilding at the end of the
No,
Bible,
he
my
really
nigga.
was. He really was. It's
Fucking-
crazy. It's hard to get through
Fucking
for me.
4 horsemen and shit, my
No,
nigga.
it's hard to
Revelations
get
is
through.
pop. It's such a fun book of the Bible to read.
Yeah.
You fucking joking?
Yeah.
The last chapter of that shit, though, it's written that like if you know whatever, you're not supposed to add or subtract anything from like the script of the Bible, right? That's what it says at the end of the motherfucking book. However, there's 3 or 4 books out the shit missing.
How do we know that?
Because we have read the original shit, and we know that there are 3 in the like Geneva Bible that do not exist
What
currently.
is taken out?
Yeah. What did
3
they say?
whole ass books.
No, I'm
But what
saying
did they
what is
say?
it about?
Yeah. What is
Oh,
it?
girl, I haven't read the fucking books. I just am familiar with like I think the Geneva Bible is like the original shit, which is the Quran.
No.
The Quran.
That's-
What's the Torah? The Torah.
Okay.
I apologize. The Torah from Judaism and then mixed with
'Cause I'm pretty sure that's Muslim.
Yeah.
correct,
yeah,
it is.
Yeah, it is.
So Torah and then mixed with the New Age shit or whatever. And the Geneva Bible is, from what I remember and from what I understand, like the actual full text of the Bible with like without any of the books taken out and any of that shit like that. Which is, I just, I think that religion is a thing made by people.
Sure.
At the end of the day, like
Sure.
this is such a weird thing, but it's like I think that it is way less likely that God made us, and it's way more likely that we made God, because every other fucking century and a half, like there's a new religion, there's a new nigga being like, this God made me, these gods made me, or whatever, and I'm like, so these it's a book. The Bible is a book, right? The Torah is a book. The Quran is a book, right? These are texts written by niggas that dictate that there's some higher power, some deity or whatever. And I feel God all the fucking time. I know exactly what you're talking about. I was like considering doing something, making a big move a couple weeks ago, and one of my coworkers was like, nah. And when she told me no, I remember not hearing her, but hearing whatever the motherfuck else was speaking through, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I should be listening now."
Yeah.
But it's just like the shit is made by people, so it's hard for me to be like.
See, for me, so going back, so Darian, you said something interesting, which I kind of agree. Like, first of all, the judgment thing is off the chain. Like, first of all, it's always bugged me because, like I said, I grew up in church. I've seen a lot, right? So it's always been interesting to me how you're going to judge somebody for doing whatever it is, but when you was in, well, before you were in church, before you got saved, before Jesus, came in your life, you was doing XYZ too. So let's not forget, and it's not to say like everybody's got to put their stuff on blast, but like let's not forget, what you went through. Like everybody's been through something. Everybody's been through something they're not proud of. Everybody, you know what I mean? So I hate that, and that's kind of the reason why I identify as a Christian, just because.
It's what you know.
It's that, but also I kind of don't like telling people that I'm a Christian because they assume that you are homophobic.
Oh, yeah. You
judge people. Which I'm not. Like, look, first of all, like I said on the last podcast about abortion, abortion is not something I would pick for myself. However, I'm not going to tell somebody that they should not get an abortion. If you feel like you are not physically, mentally, emotionally, financially ready, who am I to tell you what to do with your body? You know what I'm saying? So and when I say things like that, people are like, huh? Like you know what I mean? So I do identify as Christian because, like I said, I love Jesus. Like he, it's really about the relationship and not the religion.
Right.
But so I do identify as a Christian, but I sometimes don't like saying it because then people assume that I automatically, am judging them for whatever. I'm gonna look at you crazy if you say a cuss word. If you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, you are of the same sex. Like I'm gonna look at you like, oh, you're gonna, what I mean? So it's
one of the reasons why me and you were friends.
Yeah,
because it's like,
because
I don't no fucking judgment.
Who am I to say, like, bro? Like I have done all kind of stuff, and sin is sin. Like it's not like there's a hierarchy to sin.
Oh my God, thank you.
You know what I mean? There's not a hierarchy to sin. Like Jesus forgives everybody. So like, if you quote unquote sin, it's not like
nowhere in the Bible is it like murder is worse than this sin.
There's not like a Maslow's
it's all the fucking same.
There's not like a Maslow's hierarchy of needs to sin. Like there's not, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna judge you. Like I've done stuff, I've said stuff, whatever, but I know Jesus still loves me. He still called me to a purpose. I think he still has a plan. I think Jesus has a plan for everybody's life, I believe. So that's just where I'm at with it. But yeah.
Joe?
Yeah. Joe, what do you think?
I was just thinking, like, you were talking about people being judgmental.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking at my church, like, people like to be judgmental because they're like, oh, we just really care about your soul and we don't want you going to hell. So I'm going to talk about you and I'm going to point it out to you in an effort to, like, make you.
Well, let me ask you, do they do it? Like, let's just say it was
like
me and
maliciously
you.
Or nicely.
No, let me ask you. So, like, will they talk about you in front of other people? Will it just be like me and you?
Other people.
See, no, that's not cool. And also something else I want to point out, like, because people talk about religion and preachers and stuff. When you read the Bible, you start to realize the people that Jesus had the most beef with was the religious people, like the Pharisees and stuff.
Oh my
God.
God.
The people that Jesus had the most beef, like Jesus was hanging out. Jesus was hanging out with prostitutes. He was hanging out with people who stole.
Mary Magdalene was a hoe.
He was talking. He the woman at the well. Like he was hanging out with all them people. The people who Jesus had the most beef with was the Pharisees. Were the
Were the niggas who were denying people access to the church.
Yeah, where people, like I remember there's one story in the Bible where it talks about how this old woman, she was really, really poor. I guess they were giving their offering. She only had like a couple cents. And the Pharisees and the prophets were like making fun of her. And Jesus was like, no, like if that she gave from her heart, like that, if that's all she has to give, like her 2 cents from her heart are way more than your X amount of dollars that you know what I mean?
Jesus was the homie.
Jesus was so cool. Like, and he was so loving and forgiving. And first of all, and also I just have to say, there are things in the Bible, it says what it says, like Jesus, obviously, like it says what it says, but Jesus also, for example, the whole homosexuality thing, my uncle said it the best way. So I remember my uncle, the uncle who's a pastor in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, I was talking to him like a year or two ago, and he was telling me this story about how he met with like a gay couple, and of course him being a pastor, the gay couple was kind of like, so they were asking him like, oh, the Bible says this, like, what do you think about this? And my uncle just said straight up, like, we all know what the Bible says about homosexuality. We know what it says. However, the Bible says a lot more about how I'm supposed to love you.
Right.
So things like that. So it's like, we know what the Bible says. It says what it says. We're not going to act like it doesn't say certain things. However, the Bible does say, and Jesus lived his life more about how, by example, about how he's supposed to love you and all that stuff.
That's absolutely true.
And there are, like you said, there are a lot of messed up things in the Bible that I feel like, why don't we take them out if they're not needed?
You're not supposed to take them out.
Well, and see, so there are certain things, like, for example,
But
like...
we have taken things out.
I understand that, but...
And there are certain things, like,
Hypocrisy.
the Bible says we can't eat shrimp. However, I still go to Red Lobster.
What testament is very important?
Old.
So this is where I come in. Y'all know I'm the history nigga, right?
Yes.
So I'm always sort of trying to think about things in the historical context. So historically speaking, right, the Old Testament was the Torah, which was a Jewish text written by Jewish folk, right? Historically speaking, when Jesus was born, when a nigga got older, he was like, all right, so my dad was wildin', right? So we off all that shit. Like, all of Jesus's teachings when he was like out doing the shit, he was like, yeah, man, like we're making something about new commandments and a literal New Testament, like a new promise to y'all as my followers. A lot of that shit was him being like, oh, guys, I'm so sorry
Oh my God.
for Sodom and Gomorrah. I'm so sorry that my dad told you that you couldn't fuck dudes. I'm sorry. But like, I'm trying to do some different shit, right? So that's part of the history of it. Part of why I have sort of held back from Christianity as of late is just because of like the way Christianity got over here.
Yeah,
which is the exact same way
white colonization
also,
and slavery.
But so it's good. But I agree with you. But it's also good to point out Jesus had nothing to do with that.
No, but
that's
that's literally what I'm about to get into right now.
Okay.
So we can start with the fucking the Crusades were first, right? I think they were like the the 1100s or some bullshit like that. It was definitely AD. So the Crusades was literally, I think, the Roman Catholic Church going to everybody's different country and running up in that motherfucker and being like, hey, we have this Bible. You can join our religion or we're gonna fucking kill you and your whole ass family.
Yeah, that's wrong.
The Crusades lasted for like a century, maybe even more, right? So then Christianity has spread violently via the Crusades. Let's skip a couple centuries now to like whenever the motherfuck slavery started.
Yeah.
Right? All these white colonizers took niggas from different countries in Africa and then took them back over to what they thought was the fucking United States of America.
Little did they know.
And it started with Columbus, because Columbus was doing a lot of fuck shit too. But they make these niggas come over here, put them in bondage, put them in chains. You don't teach us how to fucking read. We're not allowed to do any of that bullshit. And then also, you now give us these texts which we can't read, and you tell us to follow this religion. And you say that if we don't, we're gonna fucking die. So like, quite literally the only reason any black people in this country are fucking Christian is because of slavery. Like, that's the only, if we were not slaves, we would be worshiping whatever fucking sun god or whatever the fuck.
I don't know, because there are some countries in Africa who are Christian. But as I say that, now I'm thinking,
why though?
Right, now
Why?
as I'm thinking, yeah, that is
there's
true.
Literally
that true.
There's no way. First, there's no way at all that anybody in this country, especially not Negroes or Native Americans, because there are a lot of Native American Christians, which I think is fucking wild.
Are there really?
Oh my God.
Huh.
Which is wild. But none of that shit happens if Crusades don't happen and if slavery doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So I'm often so like offended. I'm fine saying this because it's you.
Yeah, sure.
I'm so incredibly offended by the concept of Christianity because
I
I'm like,
why you say that.
it has been historically and it's still present tense, because there are like that fucking West Baptist church, whatever,
Westboro,
who be standing outside of gay niggas' weddings and funerals and shit like that, protesting because of some shit that's written in the Bible.
Right.
So like, the Bible and Christianity as a religious concept has been used as a tool of oppression and violence since the literal beginning of the shit. So I'm like, y'all can keep that violent ass shit. I'm trying very hard in my like 20s to find out exactly what country in Africa I originate from, so that I can start subscribing to whatever the fuck they were worshiping over there, because I feel like it's going to make way more sense to me to worship some shit that like my ancestors were worshiping.
Yeah. JoAnn, what are your thoughts? She's sitting over there quiet.
She's smacked, bro.
Yeah.
This nigga Joe came in here high as fuck.
It keeps hitting me in waves.
Oh my God.
Come back
We need to
me.
smoke
Come back
together
to you.
so bad.
Come back to you. Okay, but no, I definitely, Justin. I 1,000%. I definitely get where you're coming from. 1,000%. I definitely agree with that. I think Christianity does have a violent kind of past and present.
Yeah.
And and I will use JoAnn's word condition because I feel like if my family weren't Christian, I don't know if I would be Christian. Like
Sure.
that's just
Probably not.
that's
Right.
just the truth.
But that's just me. Also.
Would I have came to know Jesus? Maybe just because of the people I encounter. Like maybe. Like I there's no.
It's also a
I
huge
feel
religion.
like you
Yeah.
wouldn't know it in the same way though.
Yeah.
Like you grew up with a family very involved in the church.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and versus me, who like me growing up, my mom did not make me go to church. I am not baptized, and the only time I went to church is when my grandma asked me to. Like my parents were not religious, so didn't go. My grandparents didn't make my uncles and aunts and my dad go to church at all. My grandpa on my mom's side was Catholic and like removed himself from the church because he did not agree with any of the shit that was going on within the church. And so like me growing up, I don't know like how y'all are talking about this. Like it's really informative and interesting, but I don't know anything
Sure.
about
And
that.
that's
Like
fine.
I have
That's okay.
no sense of like where it started, who it came from, other than the fact that like Christianity obviously got spread by white colonization
Sure.
and like force. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I mean, and it's cool to learn about it, but I don't have a desire to become or devout myself to a specific religion.
No,
And that's
specific.
fine.
No.
Okay.
And that's fine. And my thing. Go ahead, JoAnn.
Also, I just wanted to say this. While I identify as Christian, I sometimes don't believe in the church, going to church specifically, because there was a situation that happened at my church when I was younger. There was a pastor, and he was taking money from the offering and the tithes.
Right.
I've been
I
at my
know.
grandma's church
I already
too.
know where you're going. Go ahead.
He was financing vacations. We saw
Yeah.
him in a new ride, and we were like, where's this money coming from? And it was my dad. He's the chairman of the deacon board. He brought it to everyone's attention at a church meeting, and they called him a liar because he found the records, and he was telling everyone, but they didn't want to believe him.
Yeah.
That's how you know that they are devout Christians.
Like, no way. Could our pastor do this to us?
Yeah.
And they didn't want to even think about it because they just faith.
Yeah, there's some messed up, and like I said, I've seen a lot. So there are definitely messed up things that happen in church behind closed doors. There's some shady, you know what I mean?
We
And
make
if
gods
I-
of these men.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I've said this before, and I've actually had a
Can't stand
conversation with my
that.
dad about this before. Like, I think that's just because I come from a pastor's family.
Sure.
I think that. Like, if TD Jakes were to walk in here right now, a lot of people would be like, oh my God,
Oh,
TD
no,
Jakes. blah,
I
blah.
would lose my shit.
I wouldn't. Like, I'd be like, oh my God, TD Jakes, what up? But I wouldn't be like, oh my God, just because I've grown up with a pastor's
I watched
family.
that nigga for a decade. I would be like, oh my God,
Oh
it's
my
TD
God.
Jakes.
Oh my God. But no, JoAnn, I definitely see where you're coming from because there are some, not, I'm not saying in my situation, like in my family, there's some shady stuff happening, but I have heard some situations and different things happening, with, or whether it be, whatever. So
I feel like if I ever were to decide to join a church and become a part of a religion, I would do very drastic research into where I'm going to be committing my time to and like if my offerings or my praise, you know what I mean? I wouldn't just automatically be like, okay, so I'm going to go to my grandma's church because this is the church she's always going to.
Yeah. You have to do your research.
Right, and
Yeah,
all
that's
that
fine.
other stuff. Because
that's
like
fine.
But I mean, I'm not planning on doing that. But I'm saying if I ever did,
Yeah.
like that's the thing about too, if we're going to talk about religion, is like how Justin brought up is like people are coming out the waterworks with different religions all the time. And that results from like cults and stuff like that as well. As I'm saying,
Every
is
religion is a cult. Period.
well, I'm saying,
But I see what you're saying.
yeah, it's like even though yes, in a sense,
Yeah.
but they operate differently.
Sure. I know, absolutely.
And that's what
absolutely.
I'm saying is like whenever people label something as a cult, they're not going to label Christianity as a cult because a lot of people worship Christianity and think of it as like not to be something that people have to get involved in or
It's
don't
big.
have a choice, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
It's
like
big.
I guess it still gives you a choice. Like as in if you were to be like in a cult that has a religion, it's either you're with
Like
us
the
or you're not.
Scientology church.
Yeah.
Scientologists will kill you, nigga.
No.
That shit scared
You
the
look
fuck
at,
out of
like
me.
the fact Leah Remini lived to tell about her stuff is a
Girl.
miracle.
Okay.
And it became a TV show.
And she wrote a
girl.
book. Like,
Girl,
But and that's
What?
the crazy thing about
I pray
it.
for Tom Cruise every day. I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
please don't kill Tom Cruise.
Didn't Tiffany Haddish like get a check and leave?
Was she a Scientologist?
Yeah, but she went and she went in for a date. They kicked her out.
Oh, period.
Yeah.
I'd love
What
to
they
get
kick
kicked
her
out.
out for?
Because she wanted to get out, so she like made a huge scene. She was like screaming at the top of her lungs,
Period.
and they wouldn't let. She asked to get out, they wouldn't let her out. So she like screamed. She made a huge scene because she was staying at some convent or something. So she made a scene,
Queen,
and they let her out.
And that's what I mean too about those kind of things. It's like once you're in, you're in. There's no leaving because you know all of their shit that they do.
Yeah.
You know all the brainwashing,
Yeah.
all of like polygamous groups who have like their one person that they worship within that group. They follow that man and they let him think that they should be like women should only do women's work. That they should be a wife to a man who has multiple wives and hundreds of children, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like those are cults, you know
Right.
what I mean? Because that's illegal.
right?
Marry
right.
a 12-year-old and have babies with 12-year-olds.
Yeah, because and justify it by the religion.
Right, and that's
You're
what I'm
completely
saying.
right.
And that's my problem with that is that there are a lot of things that people justify because of their religion.
Yep.
Like I don't want my son to be gay because God says no. Or I don't want my daughter to date a black man because God says
I told
no.
you that bullshit that happened in my Spanish class, didn't it?
Yeah.
I didn't tell them.
Oh,
No,
shit.
what
No, you need to tell them
What
this.
happened?
So I was in Spanish class. This is actually
Justin is like, I'm surprised he didn't react to this, but he really didn't. And y'all know how he is, anti
I feel proud of you in
anything
advance.
like that.
Yeah, I'm anti. Period.
Right.
A couple weeks ago, like right before school let out, we were in one of my Spanish classes or whatever, and this nigga sits like next to me, but he's really fucking weird. So I never like paid much attention to him or whatever the fuck, because he's weird. So I'm like, whatever. And when he talks Spanish terribly, right? It's fucking, and we're at a 300 level course. I'm like, my nigga, why do you speak Spanish so terribly? And I'm like, whatever. So he's talking and I'm zoning out. I'm on Twitter or whatever. And I start hearing people like sniggering. I'm like, I wonder what people are laughing about or whatever. But I was like, I'm not going to pay attention. And then I'm like, I hear he's like, blah, 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 blah. Esclavos, which is Spanish for slaves. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm listening now. So they're talking back and forth, him and my professor.
Ugh.
And the nigga is like justifying slavery.
How?
He's like, because God said it was okay.
when?
In the Old Testament, it does say that, it does mention slaves, and it mentions it like being fine for you to have slaves. It actually like there's a verse specifically about like slaves obeying their masters or some bullshit like that. And so the dude was like, or my professor, who God bless him, I love him so much. I'm so happy to have him next semester too. He was like, so are you saying that slavery was okay? And he was like,
Is your professor black?
no, he's a white man from Spain.
Shout out to.
Oh, I fucking
Come on, allies.
Yeah, I fucking love him. Oh my
Allies.
god, and he's fine. The dude was like,
course.
God said it was okay, and I was like, oh, that's why everybody's laughing.
Oh my goodness.
Because it was just so, I was like, this nigga is justifying slavery in front of my salad right now, like just so loud
front
and
of your
wrong
salad.
about that shit. That's the joke that I'll send you the shit later. I was just like, wow. So like Darian said, niggas be justifying any and everything by whatever. I don't want to keep Bible bashing. Like whatever religious text, right? Anything can be justified if your religious text like alludes to it even slightly. So I'm like, all right, cool. Because I mean, it is justifiable through the Bible. It kind of is. I understand that. Like a lot of shit is justifiable by the Bible. Beating your kids is justifiable by the Bible. Like all
I'm
that
about
shit.
to read y'all a couple things about slavery in the Bible.
Oh, period.
All right, so this one says, slaves in the reverent fear of God, submit yourselves to your masters, not only to those who are good and considerate, but to those who are harsh. And this one says,
Turn the other
all
cheek.
who are under the yoke of slavery should consider their masters worthy of full respect, so that God's name and our teaching may not be slandered.
What books are those?
I don't
One of those is
Oh,
Leviticus?
this one is Timothy 6:1. This one, that was Timothy, like,
Oh, it's okay.
yeah. And so this one is, I can't even fucking say that, Justin.
What's it? Oh, Colossians.
Colossians. Okay.
Yeah.
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 So it doesn't look good. I can agree.
It's
That's what I'm
just
saying,
it's just
though.
tricky.
There are so many things in the Bible. Like, do you guys remember when I sent you that fucking list of things that So I was in multicultural psychology this semester, and there was a list of things in the Quran and things in the Bible, and we had to try and differentiate like who had what.
Yeah.
And there was like and you know the thing about Christianity is that they look at people who are not Christians, like Muslims and stuff, as if they are subhuman.
Every other religion is just the worst shit you can possibly be.
And that they're like savages. But then you look at the Bible and you compare it to the Quran, same shit. Basically the same shit in there. Like talking about how women must obey men. There's the same things about rape. Like rape is okay as long as it's, like, hold on. I could probably find the picture and legitimately read some shit to you.
The Quran literally, like, there's a passage in it about, like, I think his name was Muhammad and Jesus, like, having met at some point in time that the Bible straight up doesn't address. And what I've noticed a lot, like, especially in, like, Black Christianity, like gospel music and shit, and like Tyler Perry plays, which have been a very big
which
tool.
Might as well be the Bible.
Which
might as well be a gospel.
In Tyler Perry's play I Can Do Battle by Myself, there's a character who is a Buddhist. Mm-hmm. And everybody else is a Christian, and they make fun of her for being a Buddhist. Mm-hmm. But in the fucking play, the Buddhist is reading the Quran, which is a Muslim text, correct?
Yeah.
Say that again?
The Quran is a Muslim text.
Yes.
So in this Tyler Perry play, this Buddhist is allegedly reading the fucking Quran.
Oh, he didn't do research.
And that's what I'm saying, is that, like, Black Christianity specifically,
We
like,
just kind of go with it.
they really get off on shitting on other religions and being wrong too. I was like, because I watched the shit when I was a child, and I was like, oh, blah, 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 whatever. But then I got older and I was like, Buddhists don't read the Quran. I was like, that's not what the fuck she's doing.
Yeah.
Like,
And that was a Tyler Perry movie you said?
the Tyler
It was a
Perry play,
play.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Tyler Perry has been a very big instrument for, like, the, like, spread of Black Christianity and, like, some of its, like, kind of weird, fucked up
Was
ideals.
that supposed to be a joke? Or
No,
were they
it's
just
it's
legitimately
it's
didn't
that
know?
she is supposed to be a joke because she's not a Christian.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
yeah, that's true. No, they
she
did.
literally gets, like, there's a part in the shit where she starts chanting, like a Buddhist chant or whatever the fuck, and Medea, which is a different conversation that we might not have or whatever the fuck, but Medea gets up and starts, like, mocking her chant, which is something that Black Christians actively do to other religions. I'm like, do you know that, like, there's a sect of Christianity that literally believes when you take communion that shit becomes the literal body of Christ, and that the wine becomes the literal blood of Christ? Like, y'all niggas are eating a zombie, but are mad at Buddhists for minding their fucking Buddhist ass business. Like,
Yeah.
All right, so I found a couple of things because I remember this is a paper that I was given in class and we had to, like, differentiate. I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember which one is which, but I'm going to try and go through and just
we
tell
might be
me,
able to help you out.
Just tell me if I read this, which one you think it is, the Bible or the Quran.
Oh, game time.
I love this. Fun.
Ready?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Cute.
Let's go.
Okay.
Prepare slaughter for his iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise nor possess the land.
That is
Quran.
Bible, I'll say.
Okay, I'm not 100% sure, guys. So
It's not. Oh, okay, we're just. Oh, fuck. I wish we had the answers.
Yeah.
That's
Me
what I'm
too.
saying is, like, she didn't give us the answer. She was telling us in class, and I took a picture and sent it to y'all, but I don't actually have the answer.
Okay.
But there are some that I remember being like,
Okay, well, tell
One
us
or
the ones
the
you know.
other.
Tell us the
Yeah.
ones
because
you know
that
for
one I
fact.
was not 100% sure.
Tell us the ones you know for fact.
Okay. This one says, now therefore kill every male among the little ones.
That is
And
definitely
That's
the
the
Bible.
Bible.
That is that
And therefore-
Jesus, because when
Yep.
Jesus was born, I'm to the story, but go ahead.
Yeah.
That's the Bible.
I'm just saying, and kill every woman that hath known man by lying with them.
That is the Bible.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. And if they cease, God is forgiving and merciful.
That sounds Quran.
I would like to believe that's the Bible,
Because
but
I've never read that in the Bible.
I would like to believe, but
What's the passage one more time?
It says, and if they cease, God is forgiving and merciful.
That sounds Quran to me.
I'm gonna go Bible. Go ahead.
I'm not sure on that one.
Damn.
Dang.
Sorry, guys.
Oh, man.
Sorry, guys. If a damsel, a virgin, be betrothed unto a husband, and a man find her in the
Quran.
city, and lie with her, then you shall bring them both until the gate of that city, and you shall stone them with stones until
I'm going
they die.
Quran.
Quran.
Yeah, that is
although the
Quran.
Bible does talk about stoning people too,
Hell
but
yeah.
that is Quran.
That's Quran. I
Yeah.
remember that one. Your woman are tith until you so approach
Quran.
your tith as you will.
Yeah, Quran.
Yeah.
The Bible doesn't say.
Bible don't use the word like tiff.
What's it? What's? go
Oh,
ahead.
tilth. I'm sorry.
Still.
Yeah,
neither.
honestly, it's the same thing.
If a man meets a virgin who is not betrothed and seizes her and lies with her, and they are found, and then the man who lay with her shall give to the father of the young
Bible.
lady 50 shekels of silver.
That's
I'm going
Bible.
Bible.
like
Bible.
Bible.
Bible love talking about
That-
shekels.
Yeah, no, that one's the Bible.
Trading women for pieces of. Never mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell thy wives and thy daughters and the women of the believers to draw their cloaks close around them.
Quran.
Yeah, because that I feel like that's more so concealing.
Cloaks.
Okay.
Yes.
Huh.
Let me see here. If a man lies with a male as with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination.
That specifically is in Leviticus, but it's probably also in the Quran.
It says they shall surely be put to death. Their blood is upon them.
Yeah.
So that one's Christian.
Shout out,
the Bible.
Yeah. Okay. Shout out to the Bible one time.
That's one. Yeah, I know. There's some fucked up shit in these things,
which is hard to justify. Like, because, like I said, like I am a Christian.
But you don't ever try to justify it. Is the thing.
These are the things you probably don't necessarily even
know it's there.
Go over. That's what I'm saying. Is like there's a lot of stuff in the Bible that is,
like I said, we're
skimmed over, which is why you're saying we might as well take it out.
Like I said, y'all know we're not supposed to eat pork, right, or shrimp. But guess what?
No, but that's what I'm saying. That's Old Testament shit, right? Jesus was like, I don't know why my dad told y'all couldn't eat bacon, but eat whatever the fuck you want to.
I'll do like 2 more and then we'll end.
Okay.
Let the women learn in silence with all subjection.
That's Quran.
I'm going Quran.
Yeah. Depart from evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue
Bible. Go ahead, JoAnn.
Joe, what'd you have?
Oh,
fucking pothead, bro.
I was gonna say something, but I forgot.
Of course, I know you did, Joe. You're high. I be forgetting shit all the time when I'm high. Also, sidebar, I think the amount of weed I've been smoking lately has like drastically affected my like ability to retain memory. Mm-hmm. I be forgetting to have.
What kind of strands do y'all be smoking?
I just like. When I don't smoke that often, but like
me either. It's Monday.
It just be hitting
work.
Well, when I like go out with friends or whatever, I'm not the drinking nigga, but I will smoke a blunt.
Mm-hmm. You gonna smoke today at the cookout? No, okay.
That's my version of a pregame.
Okay.
Never mind.
Hold on, y'all better smoke on the way there and
I don't smoke.
Spray
I'm
yourself
not
off.
I don't smoke. I'm not smoking.
I don't recommend it.
I wouldn't smoke it, I wouldn't come to your
y'all can come high. Just don't.
I don't smoke.
I don't want to do it. I would feel disrespectful in your mom's house doing that shit.
You asked that so you go smoke at the cookout? At Andrea's
I meant outside, not inside the house.
I looked
it
at
don't matter where you're at.
And I was like, I don't think so, Erica.
I popped up so quick. I was like, hold on, at Andrea's house? No.
I don't smoke, so I don't know how etiquette works. So don't mind me.
Sidebar.
Some families let y'all do that. Yeah. Not my mother.
Speaking of which, this Baltimore trip I mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm. You did that. You smoked there.
No, I didn't. 2 things happened, right? So my uncle Rafael is a veteran or whatever. I think he was in the army. Mm-hmm. He has PTSD. And one of the things about that is that, like, he needs medication sometimes, blah, blah, blah. They have prescribed that nigga 150, he can get up to 150 grams of marijuana.
God.
And he can either get it in just like, he can get weed or he can get like the little oil or whatever. So he gets oil and he puts it in his fucking little vape pens or whatever.
Neat.
So he's just throughout the day chiefing.
Which I need one of those pens. They look bomb.
They look so fun. But also, so all 3 of them.
Also discreet.
All 3 of them vape in the house. My Aunt Teresa, which is also my mother's name, funny. My Aunt Teresa vapes nicotine. My Uncle Raphael vapes weed. My cousin Brian, who is 18, vapes nicotine in the house, like around his parents. I thought he was vaping nicotine until he came up to play. He plays trumpet or whatever. He came up to play a little trumpet solo and was smacked out of his fucking mind.
How was the solo? Was it messed up?
Oh no, it was incredible.
Oh, of course, that's impressive.
My little cousin is a genius. Shout out to you, Brian. I'm so proud of you. But he was smacked as fuck. Like and after that, I was like, oh, this nigga has been smoking weed in front of our grandma for 4 days straight. And I was like, Brian, what the fuck are you doing, nigga?
That's kind of funny.
But I was also like, damn, I wish I could do that shit.
Yeah.
Like,
speaking of marijuana, we should talk about the crime bill now.
Yes.
Good segue.
Good segue. You want to talk about the crime bill really quickly?
Yeah.
So. How are we looking on time?
Hour 22.
Oh,
that's not
sick,
too bad. We're on our
nigga.
3rd topic.
We got another hour in this motherfucker.
No, we don't. Go ahead.
All right. So this particular topic is being brought up because Joe Biden has kind of been being dragged in the media for a bill he helped write in 1994.
Also, sorry, side note, y'all ever seen young pictures of Joe Biden? Joe Biden was
yummy.
Fine.
Yummy.
Wait, how young?
Cool
wait, young.
Like 20s.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any.
Joe Biden
girl.
was fine.
He would be your type.
I would have sucked his dick sideways, girl.
And I like
Joe
white
Biden.
boys. He was tall. We should pull up. Somebody pull up
a picture.
Don't even trip. That nigga's
Joe
my background
Biden
right now.
Joe Biden is like a handsome old man now, but back when he was 20, there's like a picture of he was like on the beach somewhere.
Oh, girl.
That man was fine.
Yeah, no.
Okay, go ahead, Darian.
But in
Sorry.
'93, he ain't look nothing like that.
Oh, he.
Oh no, he was old.
You.
Old
I'm
and
about to show
ugly,
this picture.
decrepit.
This is Darian's nigga.
Let me see. Is it the
Let
one
me
I
see.
got?
Let me
Yeah,
see.
that's
Let me
it,
see.
that's
Let me see.
it.
Ain't he fine?
Yeah, he's.
He
Oh,
was
okay.
so
Fine.
fine.
Ooh, that's why
He aged horrible.
That's why I said.
White people tend to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
to
remember
do
they
so.
cradle, they crack, they bundle,
Pop.
like all that shit.
Pop.
Bundle.
Snack, crackle, pop.
Rice Krispies.
But
no,
no,
go ahead.
anywho. So no, I was just saying because he helped write this bill in 1994 when he was a senator in Delaware. It was supposed to be used to decrease the crime rate, but it came with a lot of controversial issues because it was like. It was about whether or not it actually helped decrease crime, and it also people think it contributed to mass incarceration. So basically, it's one of the largest crime bills ever passed, and it's called the Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act, and it strengthened law enforcement across the country, providing federal money for new cops in prisons, as well as tightening up federal sentencing guidelines. It included a federal 3-strike provision mandating life imprisonment for certain felons convicted of violent crimes and expanded the death penalty to include 60 additional crimes. And the bill also included a ban on 18 different types of semi-automatic assault weapons for the next decade.
Yeah.
So people are saying that some of the good things, I'm going to put good in
Because
quotation
there are,
marks.
because I did read it. There
Yeah.
are some good parts in it.
Yeah.
It's not all bad.
Yeah.
But like this is what people are arguing is like the biggest good thing to come out of it, which I honestly think they just endorsed police brutality. I don't really think that I see this as
It was
a
the
good
part
thing.
that I think. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, well, I'm just saying though, like the thing that they think made it work was that the crime bill was not okay. I'm sorry. Where am I at here? Okay, so they don't think it actually helped decrease crime, but it provided funding for 100,000 new police officers
Yep.
and $14 billion in grants for community-oriented policing.
I see how well that's worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm
That's not a
saying is
fucking
I feel like
positive.
they just pretty much endorse police brutality
So
at this point.
I have it up here. It says they have $9.7 billion in funding for prisons, $6.1 billion with a B in funding for prevention programs, which were designed with significant input from experienced police officers.
Yeah.
Now, I just want to see where did we see these prevention programs
we
manifested?
Yeah, no, we saw them in 2015 when during the fucking Black Lives Matter movement where the fucking police had tanks and shit.
But that's not prevention.
Yes, it is.
I think they're-
When I
were
say,
supposed to
but
do
when
something,
but
but
when
that's
I
more
when I
recent.
read prevention programs, I'm thinking you're going out to the community to prevent people from
Yeah.
going to jail. Not
I don't think that's what that was though.
yeah.
In the 90s,
When they were
they
talking
were
about
not that
prevention, they were
progressive.
talking about taking people off of the street, though, preventing crime from happening, putting black people
Right.
behind bars.
That's
kind
what
of
preventative
That's
means.
what they're
Okay.
saying.
Like
We're
he
gonna
said
put
that
you
when he
niggas
was on
in
the
jail
Senate floor and he was
before
trying to
you-
defend the bill.
You have to
Yeah.
think about the context of when this was first issued, this bill.
The 90s, right?
It well, yeah, like
Yeah, 93, 94.
This is even though police brutality has been going on for a long time. This is when people started to be like, "Oh no, we can't keep doing this."
The
shit.
the early 90s was during a time similar to now
Yeah.
where tensions were a little high. This is post
Yeah.
Rodney King, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is when they started to try and crack down on police brutality. Started to like come up with ways. I wish y'all could see me doing these like quotation
Quote, unquote,
marks.
unquote.
Everything is in air quotes.
Because like
this is the
they're
episode
trying
with
to
air
come
quotes.
up with ways.
I like
I like that.
That's
We're
a
gonna do
good
it.
one. That's a good one. But they're trying to come up with ways to prevent and decrease crime. But all they're doing is beefing up sentencing, like places to put prisoners and stuff like. They're not
Yeah.
really doing anything besides having us pay more money out of our pockets and giving more money to these facilities to hold people.
See, my thought is if you want to decrease crime, you will open more community centers. You will give kids a place to go after school instead of having them be out in the streets. If you really like to me, like it starts when you're young. Like it starts when you're bored, when you have nothing to do, when your parents are not at home, your parents are working, whatever the case is.
Yeah.
if you
will-
get yourself into like bad situations in
yeah,
the neighborhood
if
that you
you
live
really
in.
want to prevent crime, you will provide community centers. You provide opportunities for jobs. You will provide after school programs. You
Look at
will
like how
provide.
good like the Boys and Girls Club has honestly done. Like,
Yeah.
they've done. I remember
Where they
going
try to
there
do
for a lot
positive
of
shit for the
summers.
kids. man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you will provide actual resources instead of building prisons and giving $2.6 billion to the FBI to like.
But did you hear in his speech how he was defending it? He said, and I found it on YouTube, parts of the speech he was giving. He said, it doesn't matter whether or not they're the victims of society. The end result is that they're going to knock my mother on the head with a lead pipe, beat up my wife, take out my sons. Unless we do something about
Who
the
is
cadre. They.
Who you mean?
No, I know.
Who you mean?
No, I know who they
We
is.
know
You
who
know
they-
clearly.
I'm like, who the
Unless
white
you-
fuck are you talking to, Joseph?
I can't even call him
take me out
Uncle
with
Joe
that
anymore,
full
man.
name.
Oh yeah, that's why.
government.
That's why when you call a nigga Uncle Joe in the group chat, I was like, who the fuck is she calling Uncle Joe? You don't like
that was his nickname when he was up there with Barack. But now I'm
redacted now.
Yeah, sorry.
Why would Obama have him as his?
But
But
okay,
anyways,
yeah, no, we can
unless
get to
do
that
something
later.
about the cadre of young people, tens of thousands of them born out of wedlock, without supervision,
Oh,
without
girl.
any structure, without any conscious development because they haven't been socialized or had the opportunity to do so. We should focus on them now.
I love
Putting
how
them
this
behind
rich
bars.
white man
They're
is
not
talk-
doing any of what you just described. All of those programs that would actually help develop the black community.
Yeah.
They wanted to put people in
See,
prison.
things
Yeah.
like
For
that.
money.
See, when I hear things like that, it's like I know white people hate us, but y'all hate us.
Like he
Hatred.
said this verbatim.
Like I obviously know like some white people hate black people, but nah, y'all really hate us. Like God,
I
really?
feel like though the thing
Dog
is
whistle
about that, like
politics.
what he just said, y'all. This white man is talking from a white privileged
perspective.
rich man's perspective.
You
Like
don't- you're
he
not
knows
in-
what goes on in the black community.
You don't even know.
Exactly.
He don't give a fuck.
And
And-
if you really look, like, of course, like, yes, there are people on drugs in the street, but why are the people on drugs in the street? They're on the street because
Come on.
when you
First
when
off,
the,
who
when,
put crack in
Come
the
on.
fucking
Wait, no,
community?
it's
Come
not
on.
even that.
Imported from
Before
the
that,
cops
before even all that, why are the people on the street? Number one, the wars that you guys insisted that we
Come
have.
on, Erica.
The wars that you guys insisted that we have that we low-key had nothing to do with. Y'all insisted that we be a part of.
Come on.
Y'all promised us opportunities after we got out of the war.
Come on.
So we came in the war. We came out. We were treated like nothing. We were promised free education, housing, all that stuff. We got none of that. That is
100%.
why we are
Are
on
we
the
going
streets.
back to the Civil War after are we talking about
I'm
Reconstruction
talking about
or are we
Vietnam.
talking about Vietnam?
I'm talking about Vietnam.
We can go. You can pick a war, my nigga, and
Pick any war.
and Negroes were put on
Well,
the front fucking
yeah,
lines.
but that's what I'm saying is they didn't value
Oh,
their life.
definitely.
They used them because they were cattle and because they needed them. Not because they even fought on the fucking Confederate side because they were cattle and were needed. They were bodies to be used as shields, basically.
I just wish, like you guys said, I just wish people who aren't in a situation would really stop to think. Like I said, people who are on the street, why are they on the street? Because of what you did. Like,
Right.
why are these kids, not where they need to be? Because they don't have the education. They can't get good jobs, so they got to work
The
these awful
resources.
jobs. So because they're awful, they gotta get 2-3 of them just to
This
they
is
ends meet.
the cycle of socialization, basically. It
Yeah.
starts off like where you are born. Like you're born into a hospital with like low resources, with doctors who are not paid as much and maybe don't have as much experience. And then it goes into who you were raised by and the community in which you were raised in.
Sure.
And then it goes to what you're doing. Like obviously you're in poor school systems. You don't have the same resources in your community as other communities do. And then you start to get into things because you don't know any better. You know, you start to get
And if you
into
don't know
drug
better, you
dealing.
don't do better.
Yeah, right. I'm saying if you start to do illegal things, and then you follow in the footsteps of like your cousins and your friends and your parents, and like with jail time, and it's just a continuous cycle.
Yeah, because when you don't have positive fathers, uncles, whoever to raise you, you are, I don't want to say you're left to fend for yourself, but like you do not have the best, I guess, role models and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
met-
it's just going to continue the cycle like Darian said.
I met a friend for the first time who I've been friends with via Twitter for 2 years. I met him in the Baltimore trip. He lives out in Baltimore. And we were sort of I was like, "Oh, where do you live?" He was like, "I live in the ghetto." And we were kind of talking about that when I met up with him, and we were talking about how like this concept of like dangerous neighborhoods, right? Like the ghetto, the hood. Whenever, because Baltimore is high on the list of like most dangerous cities or whatever in America to live, like East St. Louis or like
St.
Detroit,
Louis,
or whatever
Chicago,
the fuck.
yeah.
And I just like, I always sort of cringe when I see lists like that or hear like deadliest cities in or whatever the fuck, because what all that like deadliest cities or most dangerous cities means to me is that like what cities has the government turned its back on the hardest and the quickest, right? What cities are the most underdeveloped? What cities lack the most resources? What cities have the highest have the highest populations of black people or brown people in general, you know? It's so fucking wild to me, like we we act in this country like we want to help motherfuckers out of their situations, and we talk about needing all these programs, and we talk about, you know, prison should be a place for rehabilitation, and so you can be a better member of society. But when these niggas get out of jail, what happens?
They're worse off.
You lose your voting rights. You're no longer a citizen. No one's gonna fucking hire you because you have to divulge that you have a criminal record and that you were in prison. And no one wants to hire a felon, an ex-con, or whatever the motherfucker you want to call it. We fuck black and brown people in this country every day because, like you said, they hate us.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, for what though, my nigga? Like, what did we do to y'all to deserve this?
Yeah. So
also, that
Want to
crime.
be considered human?
Also, that crime bill. I am reading. I keep going back to there is funding in it for DNA analysis, competitive grant programs for states and localities to develop or improve DNA ID capabilities. $40 million additional dollars authorized. My whole thing with like DNA analysis is low key like for the same reason why I'm like sketch about thumbprint analysis and
True.
facial recognition.
Why?
And this is speaking from a nigga who has a thumbprint on his iPhone and whose mother has facial recognition, and we have like Alexas and shit in the house. The concept of like surveillance terrifies me. The concept that like I am being watched by the state on a day-to-day basis terrifies me. The concept that like my information is being sold to like private companies or whatever to do whatever the motherfuck with terrifies me. That DNA analysis shit to like help prevent crimes, it is a way, and it was a way, and it still is now, and it's going to be way more of an issue when we get older, is a way to keep tabs on folk. I'm not even just going to say black and brown folks, even though that's what I want to say. Why the fuck do you need to know everything that's going on in my DNA? That's fucking creepy. It's also like it is another way for you to get into like not the system in the like the system, but like the literal computer system, right? So like DNA analysis, I don't trust that it's being held in one place. I fully think that it's being sold to like other corporations for whatever the fuck corporate needs might need to be or whatever, and our information is just like out there for niggas. That crime bill is fucked up.
Oh yeah, and so like going back to it also and talking about like but beefing up on police and everything. It says from 1990 to 1999, the number of police officers rose 28% from 699,000 to 899,000, partly funded by the crime bill. And then it says Rito also indicates that smarter policing tactics, like the ones funded by the bill, I'm just reading what I see, and social and economic factors like an aging population and decreased alcohol consumption played a role, yada, yada, yada. But it did say that mass incarceration was furthered because of this. And it said from 1970 to 94, the rate of imprisonment exploded 400% to 387 per 100,000 people.
Jesus
from
Christ.
1994 to 2009, imprisonment continued to rise, doubling.
I just want to know, what are these smarter police tactics? That's what
Tanks,
no, they're bringing in
profiling,
forces, more
batons,
forces, more
tasers,
equipment,
guns,
and things that they think can better handle these types of situations. But it's not necessarily like anything that would prevent anything. It's just to round up the niggas or people that they need to imprison, basically.
I've said this plenty of times, and I'll say it again. Police officers manage to handle situations with white people with no to little force.
I saw just the other day there was some white lady on the side of the highway yelling at a police officer. And you know she didn't get shot.
But somehow we are more, African Americans are more difficult to handle. Why? I don't know. Like, because we're not. Like,
So a tweet from the commander of the Baltimore Police Department a couple days ago. My friend who lives in Baltimore sent me this. We cackled at that shit because it was just so violently racist. To our officers at the harbor tonight. It's a waterbound city. Okay. Baltimore is. To our officers at the harbor tonight.
I think you sent this to us, did you?
I might not have. I don't think I actually have.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember this.
To our officers at the harbor tonight, protect each other and don't fall into the trap that they are only kids. Some are criminals. Keep the current policies and consent decree in mind. If ordered to arrest, put the name of the on-screen commander in all reporting. Mike Mancuso. I don't fucking care what pork ass name you have.
Yeah.
From Hillary Clinton calling our black boys,
super
predators.
criminals, super predators.
And also, Joe Biden also referred to people down the line becoming predators. I'm sick of hearing this rhetoric.
Can we talk about, because we mentioned Barack Obama.
Oh,
Yeah.
And I also want to talk about
Yeah.
the drug crack thing. But go ahead. Let's talk
and
about.
also before we move on, because I want to just get this out of the way too, with like finishing up that part of the bill.
Joe.
I just want to say that it banned, like I said, 19 types of semi-automatic assault rifles, authorized the death penalty for dozens of existing and new federal crimes, and then instituted a federal 3 strikes and you're out provision. But those facets kind of only, played so much as, the crime bill. And then it influenced states to increase their prison rolls. So the bill granted $12.5 billion to build prisons if they passed truth and sentencing laws, which required inmates to serve at least 85% of their sentences.
Got it.
And so then, like in 2002, Urban Institute study found that between 1995 and 99, 9 states adopted the TIS laws for the first time, and another 21 states changed their TIS laws to comply with the crime bill's requirements to apply for the funding. And so by 1999, a total of 42 states had these laws in order to receive this funding.
Right.
So they had to go through all these measures and just to have these things changed. You know what I mean?
Jesus Christ.
Okay, so Obama and Biden.
Okay. So I know that I'm supposed to love that nigga because
Obama?
because he was black and because he was the first black one. And
Did nobody say that? But go
whatever
ahead.
the fuck.
Nobody said that, but all right.
Oh, I mean, it was okay.
It's
but,
implied.
It was overtly said.
He makes himself very charismatic.
Yeah, and he
You don't
was
like Obama?
I do.
he was and is very charismatic.
I like the
I'm not
person.
taking that away from him, and I also love his whole family. They were so
Beautiful.
They're so fun.
Sasha just gone to prom.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
They're
beautiful.
so fun to watch. Oh my god! And Malia is like homies with all the rappers now. Like Amine knows her and shit.
Okay, but go ahead.
So, the Black Lives Matter movement. When did it start?
2015?
Under the Obama administration.
Yeah.
When that shit was popping off, I watched that motherfucker get up on the little podiums or whatever and try to keep the peace or whatever every time he sided with the police. He never tried to be like, the police need to be blah, 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 and we need to be protecting our black youth, whatever the fuck. He was like, yeah, no, like if the police, blah, 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 you guys need to do such and such and things.
But it doesn't even matter what we do. We still get...
This is where I'm going.
Yeah.
So the Black Lives Matter movement became a necessity under the administration of our only black president. That is not lost on me at all. Also, President Barack Obama currently holds the highest rate of not immigration. What's the opposite of that? Deportation out of any president in American history. Right? So this nigga got in office, and I say we, not as us, right? But
The black people.
The black community as a whole really thought that meant liberation for us, in the same way that slaves thought that the Emancipation Proclamation meant liberation for them. It fucking didn't at all. Obama getting in office didn't mean jack shit for us, because Trayvon Martin still got shot and murdered. Mike Brown still got shot and murdered.
Eric Garner.
The lady's name, fucking Sandra Bland still mysteriously died in fucking prison. Tamir Rice still got shot because he was holding a motherfucking water gun up to the fucking police, and we thought it was a weapon. That nigga said nothing, sided with the police, and told us to chill out until it got better. And was very in favor of bulking up police. And who was that nigga's vice president?
Joe Biden.
Uncle Joe.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like he's still someone to look up to, as in as African American people can get to that point. But we have to remember at the same time, is even though he is an African American man, he is still a politician.
Yeah.
5,000%.
And that's what the thing is about it too, is that politicians play in the hands of those who are giving them money and are endorsing this and are who can change laws. And you are one person, essentially. He probably has no choice.
Yeah.
And
a lot of that shit I didn't think he necessarily had.
I thought he could have said F the police on the podium. Like, he could
Yeah.
have.
No,
you know what I mean?
not like that. But I just was kind of sitting there first off, a lot of the times he acted like there was nothing going on, and then he tried to be on some All Lives Matter shit, and I just remember being like, my nigga, what if Sasha gets shot? Then what happens?
Yeah.
Do you give a fuck about police brutality when your fucking kid gets killed by
I
a
feel
cop?
like that's how it always works. Even with this abortion thing, people.
Oh, yeah.
But the moment your daughter gets pregnant,
a different life than we do.
Yeah.
But the nigga grew up poor and black.
Yeah, I understand that, but now he lives in a politician's world.
That makes
where
me
he has
feel
to
worse.
where he has to censor himself to a degree in order to, first off, as an African American man,
to get shit done.
Not only that, but was
that
that
get done?
were like the House
Yeah.
was ran by fucking Republicans.
Oh yeah, the Republicans were running.
They were
that
not
whole shit.
worried about this man.
They were like, shut
He
up,
was-
nigga.
he-
Power
you know how
resides.
hard
He's
it
just
probably-
a mouthpiece.
You know how
Yeah,
hard
that's
it
what I-
was
yeah.
for him to probably try and come in there and make some change when
Oh,
the
yeah, no,
Republicans
I-
are running the House.
I completely agreed that like there were a lot of things that I'm sure he wanted to do that like weren't necessarily being done, not due to any fault of his own. But I just remember like this feeling, and it's the same sort of feeling I'm getting now. Like we're going up for a lot of these different black candidates or whatever that are running for the.
Just because they're black does not
I look at
mean.
them with a fine tooth comb. It don't matter.
Because what's her name? Kamala Harris.
Kamala.
Right.
Kamala.
Kamala.
Trump's
Girl.
right hand man.
Because she was a hard ass prosecutor.
Listen, Jessica. Hey, look. If you didn't know better, you would think, hey, she's black and she's a woman. Ooh, double whammy. But
Officer
if you-
Harris is trying to lock niggas up, bro.
But if
trying
you
and
really-
succeeding.
if you look, and did you guys see
No, you're
that
right.
little sorry interview at the Breakfast Club she had?
the one where she said
She smoked weed and listened to.
it's a Tupac and Biggie
She
or
like,
whatever the
yeah.
motherfucker.
She
Taking out
tried.
so much context though.
Yeah, but I just
She
but,
tried,
you
she
know,
tried.
It's the same sort of representation for us does not necessarily mean that like representation doesn't equal liberation for us.
No, absolutely not.
It doesn't at all. But I think that's sort of not the trap that we can fall into, but I think that's a thing that like niggas voted for Barack because he was a nigga. Period. Because that was what everybody in the fucking I'm voting for him because he's black. Now whatever fucking policies I'm sure he had or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
All the niggas that I remember on the news and even my family members and shit, they were like, he black, so he got my black ass vote today. And
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Yeah.
bro, like,
Also, let's talk about the whole, because it's really interesting to me, like the 80s and like speaking of mass incarceration and this crime bill, like the
and crack.
and crack. Let's talk about that. So, Justin, our historian, what do you know about that?
Oh, I mean, well, Ronald Reagan was the devil. Let's start with that, historically speaking.
And niggas love him so much.
White people really do.
Yeah.
White people
I remember-
fucking
so-
and Bill Clinton.
Yeah, I had to go to a Republican, what is it? The group on campus. What is it?
You had to go to that speech that they were giving.
Yes.
The-
what
oh,
is the-
yeah.
What is the
Republicans?
group's name?
College
Republicans. That's right.
That's right.
I went and they had a conservative judge speaking, right? And you know, one of the things he talked about, he said how popular Reagan was.
Ugh.
He
I mean, he was popular,
said people
but-
were
Very popular.
voting at the time
was
or
Donald
whatever
Trump.
to see
He
who
was
was
a
so
celebrity.
popular. Right. And they he said like almost everybody voted for Reagan, and then there was like one person who voted for the other guy. And I was like, I'm saying like on campus.
Sure.
Like
Yeah.
wherever he
Oh,
was
yeah.
going to school.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, this is what I gotta fucking listen to. Right?
For an hour.
Right.
No, but yeah, so
Ronald Reagan was historically like one of the front runners of the quote unquote war on drugs,
Yeah.
which is part of the reason. Actually, it's not even part of the reason.
where did the crack come from? Also,
That's what
Crack
yeah.
crack is derivative of cocaine. It's literally just
but how did it get into the black neighborhoods? That's what I'm asking.
I don't know. Ask Ronald Reagan. I don't fucking know. I just know that.
There's a way that it was kind of insinuated. I'm going to Google this.
No, go ahead. What the fuck? I was saying just right before then.
Ask Ronald Reagan.
Oh, the war on drugs,
Sure,
right? So
yeah.
I was gonna say is a part of the reason why, but it's actually like the core reason why in this country right now niggas can go to jail for like 25, 30 years for having like an ounce of marijuana, because he was so gung-ho about marijuana is going to destroy our youth and we need to blah 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 blah, and it's, you know, these fucking criminals are trying to poison our children and all this other bullshit. Meanwhile, crack just like effectively ruined the black community in the 80s, like that and HIV/AIDS, which effectively ruined the black gay community during the 80s.
Also, where'd that come from? That's another conspiracy theory we can
Now-
talk about.
Crack is probably more easily traceable because that's just a nigga cutting coke with like baking soda and some other shit. Like it's literally just like a Rachel Ray recipe. But AIDS is where we end up
We're
getting
lost.
into where I think the government literally went into a lab and created it and then put it into somebody. But I think there's a story behind HIV, like a white man fucked a monkey or some shit like that. Hand to God. That's where I've heard the source of it is. Like either fucked a monkey or fucked a monkey's brain.
What the fuck?
You know, white people, girl, they be putting their penises where they shouldn't go and shit. Like, but yeah, Reagan was really fucking. It was bad, dude. But the Republicans loved him. The Republicans fucking love Ronald Reagan. Did you find anything?
So it's a lot of long explanations just talking about how the whole thing got started, not necessarily just in the black community.
Oh, yeah. Nah. I mean, you can get crack anywhere now, but like I'm saying like it originated in the black community.
Yeah.
In poor black communities primarily.
Yeah.
Which is all very interesting. Same thing with AIDS.
There was like what black people use and then what white people use. There was
White people do coke.
Yeah, there was crack and then there's coke.
Yeah,
There's like two different things.
And like I said, so coke is the full name is crack cocaine, right? So it's literally just like coke. Crack is a derivative of cocaine. Cocaine is like the pure shit you get from the fucking coca leaf, and you do whatever with it, and you chop it up into a brick, and you take a dollar bill and snort it. Crack is like a formula of shit, right? It the high is different, the intensity of the high is different, like it's way less expensive than cocaine, like incredibly less expensive.
I see what you're saying though when you say like it just seems really weird that all of a sudden he's trying to crack down on the drug crime, and it just so happens that crack also is like becoming this new big thing in the black community.
Right.
I can see where that is very suspicious.
I wish that I had more because I'm usually the nigga with the historical facts.
Okay.
I don't know too much about the fucking 80s and that whole era, but the little chunks that I know, I'm like Reagan was on some bullshit. Also, Reaganomics.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Aggressively anti-black that whole system was.
Yeah.
He was trying to kill niggas, bro.
Yeah.
But basically, coming back to this crime bill thing, I think what our issue is with Biden now running for president is that like us digging this up from
He'll
the 90s.
do the same thing.
It's like, yeah, you think about that kind of thing. Like he doesn't, and even when let me read what he said to defend himself. Also, when somebody asked if it caused mass incarceration, he said, "Folks, let's get something straight. Of every 100 prisoners behind the bars in the state." In state prison, not a federal prison. The idea that the crime bill generated mass incarceration, it did not generate mass incarceration. The only bill had $30 billion. $10 billion went to making sure there was rehabilitation, that it was for prevention. That's what it was about. Secondly, the court, I made sure there was a setup in that law that said there were no mandatories except two that I had to accept. One was the President Clinton, one of the 3 strikes and you're out. It was this entire bill.
Bill Clinton.
It included the Violence Against Women Act. It included the gun control efforts, as well as included he said, I won't get into it. It's raining. But here's the deal. What happened is the mass incarceration incurred by the state setting mandatory sentences. He is basically saying that this bill that he helped create isn't what caused mass incarceration. It's the state itself, like, and the states in which the prisons are in.
Yeah.
He's also like, it wasn't my fault.
Yeah, pretty much. But what I'm
Also,
saying is he's the reason they did this in the first place. Like I said, whenever they adopted the ITS laws to receive that funding for bigger prisons, to also have more sentencings, for more people to imprison, like that was your doing because you gave them this option. The only way they were allowed to get the funding were to change their laws to these ITS laws. Yeah. And then so like what choice do they have now? You know what I mean? They have no choice but to, if they want to quote unquote decrease the crime and receive funding from this bill, they have to change the law in which you gave them no other option.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, kind of a segment to our last topic. Is Joe Biden canceled?
Oh.
I mean,
voting for him.
I by default cancel all politicians, period.
Did you just say you'll vote for him, JoAnn?
She wouldn't.
No.
Oh, okay.
Because he hasn't changed his views. He's still defending this bill to this day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But even though he can't see that there is like jails are overflowing, and he knows that.
Yeah.
And
literally overflowing.
He legitimately knows because like people don't have court cases for years at a time
and just be in the jail.
And I'm just saying, and also people wait outside of prison waiting for court cases because they have nowhere to go but to sit their asses at home and wait because the prisons are so full.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on to our last topic. We're going to talk about cancel culture, which is something I've also wanted. Yeah, I've also wanted to talk about it. So, of course, I like to come with the definition. It's not my finest. Okay.
This is a tricky one.
Where was this?
No.
Shade room.
No. This comes from, listen, y'all gonna make fun of me.
LoveandHipHop.com.
No, shut up, Justin. No, this one comes from Wikipedia. I know. Hey, just go with me.
It can't be that wrong.
Go with me. So, according to this, cancel culture, they also call it call out culture, which I've never heard of that.
It's
But
kind of the same thing.
okay. So, cancel culture phenomenon is a call to boycott someone, usually a celebrity, who has shared a questionable, unpopular, or controversial opinion on social media.
Or problematic.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, my problem with I have a problem with cancel culture because I have several problems with it. Number one, I feel like sometimes people are too quick to cancel somebody. And I'll go into these deeper, but I'm just going to say my points, and I'll go into my sub points. So one, I feel like people are too quick to cancel somebody. They don't give them they just, cancel. Two, y'all be lying, okay? Y'all don't be canceling nobody, okay? And people still mess with Shea Moisture. People still mess with Gucci. Y'all be lying.
People still wear H&M even after y'all had that boy in a
Y'all
monkey
be
shirt.
People do
lying.
still be wearing Gucci.
Y'all
Did I
don't.
get this shirt from H&M?
It doesn't matter if you. And that's
Nigga,
my
I got a
thing.
Gucci bag
And
right
that's my thing. If that shirt's from H&M, I don't care, bro. Like whatever. But my problem with cancel culture is like people are too quick to cancel somebody. Honestly, there are some times where like yes, you should be canceled. Like putting Coolest Monkey in the Jungle on the Black Boy, that's not cool. But they also apologized. They quickly took it off the market. They did the appropriate steps. So
Their
why
PR team went to work.
So,
Right,
but why
that's
are you
what that-
still?
It just could have been prevented.
That's true. But
Could have
like
never been made.
no, and that's true. But I'm
Should have
saying
had a
like,
black person in there.
that is also true. But I'm just saying like there's so many other things that me and Justin kind of went back and forth about this on the group chat where I feel like especially with certain celebrities when it comes to saying stuff like I feel like especially let's say it came out that they said something problematic like 5, 10, 15 years ago. I don't think it's always fair to cancel them now. For example, like, and you have to look at the person today. Like, for example, Roseanne Barr, she still feels the same way that she did all them years ago. Cancel her. But, like, for example, like, Kevin Hart, like, it came out, like, 2007, 2008, he said something problematic on Twitter regarding the gay community.
Blah, blah, blah. If I had a gay son, I'd, like, kill him.
Okay. Is that what he said on Twitter?
That's what he said on Twitter and in a stand-up joke.
So,
and in a stand-up comedy.
Yes, and obviously that is not okay at all. That is
Have you seen I'm a Grown Little Man? That first one?
not in a long time.
That's where that shit is.
But and that is not okay at all. But my thing is, when it comes to deciding to cancel somebody, especially when it comes to canceling somebody because of what they said years ago, I feel like we have to look at the person today. Does Kevin Hart show through his action, his words, his behaviors that he still feels the same way? If he does, yes, cancel him. If he doesn't, because that was 10 years ago, people can change over 10 years. So if his actions today still suggest that he feels that way, cancel him. But if they do not, if he shows that he doesn't feel that way, because at this point Kevin Hart has 2 sons, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So which
increases the likelihood, by the way, that one of them is going to end up being a fag.
You and your slurs.
Yeah, I know.
God.
Crazy how I can say it because I'm gay.
Yeah.
Right?
yeah. But no, so, I just feel like when it comes to canceling people for something they said like a long time ago, it's not fair to automatically cancel them. I feel like you have to look at the person they are today. Like, whatever problematic thing they said, did, whatever, do their actions, behaviors, words still reflect what they did back then?
Joe, I want to get your thoughts on this. Smack Queen.
Damn.
She my smack queen.
I
Let her hit
literally
the...
just sat over here. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm not going to speak right now.
Fucking smack.
I mean, I was just, if I could use what we were just talking about, the crime bill.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not that, but we had moved it over into talking about potential presidential candidates. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at Kamala Harris, and we were talking about how prisons are overcrowded, and her office specifically requested to release fewer prisons, even though there is a huge overcrowding what's it called? Overcrowding problem that's happening. Wow. I'm really that gone.
Hi.
Shit.
Hi.
But that's a huge problem in California. And I was like, we need to hold people accountable. Like, I feel like cancel culture is cute or whatever. But
right,
are you
it's
really
cute.
holding these people accountable? Are you really canceling them?
And that's my problem.
It's foolish. Like, you're really not.
You're not.
You don't even know these people in real life. This feels kind of...
Right, because
Who
let me tell you
cares?
something. We supposedly canceled Daniel Caesar, but as soon as Get You comes on, we are going to sing it in the car. As soon as Best Part
I'm
comes
not,
on,
though.
we're going to sing it in
You
the car.
can not like somebody, but enjoy their music.
Let me be
Yeah.
clear.
But there's neither.
I deleted that nigga's album because he told me to. He literally got on his fuck ass Instagram live and with his teeth that are 6 feet apart. And
Call him Invisalign.
okay.
Don't like you.
His fucking teeth look like the Hoover Dam, and nobody said anything because we like Get You so much. The nigga literally sat on his Instagram live with his friend who isn't black, and goes, if you disagree with, if you want to cancel me, he was like, I want you to cancel me.
I don't want to
delete my music.
wearing niggas be lying. What?
And I'm like, cool. Never have to listen to that shit again. And I have not lost any sleep not listening to Freudian. I don't motherfucking care. My issue with cancel culture, right? So it popped up in the Twitter era, right? It is very. It all seems, and like you said, it almost seems like reactionary. People are very quick. But the reason I feel like that is because I feel like this came up around the same time the term woke did, which is why I don't fuck with that term. Everybody wants to be the wokest on Twitter. Everybody wants to be more woke than the next person. Oh, I know this thing more than you. I'm more woke than you, blah, blah, blah. So a result of that is I'm so woke that I'm going to call out this nigga within 5 seconds and tell everybody else that they're problematic if they still support his bullshit or whatever the fuck. And then I'm going to sleep good at night because I'm the wokest and I canceled blah, 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 blah before any of you stupid motherfuckers did, right?
Oh, my goodness.
It's performative as fuck.
They're just showing out.
They're showing out because go ahead. No, go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm just gonna say, go ahead.
No, go.
I was just gonna say, have y'all seen this bullshit with James Charles and Tati?
Yes, I have. That shit has been the most
I have no idea
entertaining
what's
thing
going
I've
on.
ever seen.
It's really funny to me because James Charles has been racist ever since I knew about James Charles.
Absolutely.
Girl, I got rid of James
Him
Charles
and
ages
Jeffree
ago.
Star.
N-word.
Him and Jeffree Star.
That's why I thought that shit was
how?
fun.
I fucking don't like
Wait,
Jeffree
what
He
did
was
they do?
he was making jokes about Ebola, saying nigga on Twitter for years.
He definitely did make that a Ebola joke.
Yeah, this
If I go
was
to
this was
Africa, I want
3
Ebola.
years ago.
What?
That the reason why I laughed at James Charles shit is because it took a white woman being like, it
hurt my feelings.
for her to be like,
On
James
Instagram.
Charles is canceled, and I was like, but he wasn't
That nigga
canceled
lost
when he
3
was calling
million
all of you
followers.
niggers a long time ago, right? Like he wasn't canceled. That's why
It takes
that
for a
shit,
white person.
that shit is performative, right? You don't actually give a
Dumb.
fuck about anything, any
Yeah.
shit you're talking about.
That's what I said. Cancel culture is not serious. Like, if you're really gonna be
Also,
serious,
fuck Jeffree Star.
yeah,
He was
yeah,
calling
that
black
too.
people black women monkeys
He
and
was.
shit.
Oh,
Go
absolutely.
straight to hell, nigga.
No,
And fuck
absolutely.
Nikita Dragon if you know who she is. She
I
was
don't-
like,
I
I
don't-
could never imagine being black. Could you?
I don't, but fuck her.
But no, like, that's my thing with cancel culture. Like, it's not serious. Like, I feel like, like people, like I said, people still mess with Shea Moisture. People still like mess with all kind of products that they said was quote unquote canceled.
Yeah.
But y'all will hide y'all products for about a month, and then as soon as it blows over, y'all bring it back out.
Also, the line moves, and I think this is where we get into like sexism within like, I always just in the music industry or whatever the fuck, right? So let's take two of my favorite examples: Azalea Banks, Kanye West. Okay,
Oh, Azalea Banks.
I know Azalea Banks. First off, had one of the best albums of 2014, Broke with Expensive
Such
Taste.
I've actually
Waste.
never heard her, but I hear her music is
I like
really
Azalea
good.
Banks makes such motherfucking good music. I was listening to that shit on the plane ride back home. Oh my god,
Really?
it's so good.
Disappointing.
So Azalea Banks, really talented artist, hip hop artist, EDM, like electronic music artist or whatever the fuck, has been saying a myriad of things ever since I was familiar with her, right? Just saying all sorts of crazy things. Most recently, like she was like saying this really weird shit about like transgender women, and then like now all of a sudden she's pro-choice, she's pro-life. I'm sorry. Because of this bullshit ass reason or whatever the fuck. She says some new crazy shit like every other 3
I
weeks.
feel like she does that just to get a reaction out of
No, I do
people,
too.
though.
I do. I think it's a marketing tool because I think it
Yeah,
gets people
she
talking
wants people
about
to
it.
get to Anna Winter. And
5,000%. And Anna Winter
But
slaps,
is it
by the way.
working? But is it working?
Oh, I hate
That's
to
the
admit
point.
that.
And I haven't deleted the music.
I haven't.
But
hate her.
she gets quote unquote, this one with air quotes, she gets quote unquote canceled all the fucking time. But she has, now I will say Azalea has, for all intents and purposes, been pretty effectively canceled. She gets her account suspended on Twitter every month and a half or so. Her music, she hasn't released a new album since Broke with Expensive Taste, which came out in 2014. And has been struggling to get back to where she was at back then.
I think Rihanna
Ever since.
cemented that with the chicken thing.
She absolutely did. Now, on the other side of things, we have Mr. Kanye West, as we call him in my other group chat.
He
I
needs some
don't call him
redemption.
that. I do
kinda
not
He needs
call
some
him that.
redemption. I hated that red hat on his head.
Oh my god.
It broke my heart.
Go
So,
Just the reasoning behind it is very stupid, but
ahead, Justin.
as with Azalea, I
You
will
see who he's
say
surrounded by?
Kanye West is one of the greatest artists of literally all
Oh,
time.
absolutely. So talented.
Period,
It's stupid.
point blank.
It is stupid how talented
It's
he is.
incredible to me.
Stupid.
However, MAGA. However, Bill Cosby was innocent. Was
He said that?
Yes,
So all
girl.
these people just lying. What?
Niggas just be saying things, right?
saying shit.
So
Do y'all think though that maybe he had like a lot of mental instability?
who?
Absolutely.
He needs
Kanye,
therapy.
absolutely.
I don't
He
think that's
needs to talk to
relevant.
someone.
Yes, I do, but I also think I would be fucked up too if my mom fucking died.
Okay, I'm just saying like he was like talking about remember
Bipolar
whenever-
disorder and all that shit.
I'm saying like yeah, and maybe a variety of things because I feel like he switches so often. Like not maybe 2000 whatever. Whenever Bush was president, he came out at that nigga talking about he doesn't do
George
shit for the black
Bush
community.
does not care about
Meanwhile,
black people.
Trump-
I got mad bipolar friends.
And but now he's out here all of a sudden supporting Trump, who definitely doesn't give two
Well,
shits
okay,
about
so
us.
okay, so he is gonna be on some Jay Cohen somebody's
Letterman,
David Letterman show, and so there was a clip, and he
which
said,
I will be watching.
Oh, me too. And he said he doesn't support Trump. He supports anybody who speaks their mind, who does not let somebody bully them into saying whatever.
Right, all that
That's
bullshit.
why he
Okay, but
wears
that
the hat.
He's the
doesn't.
king
So
of
that,
all
but
bullies.
that's such hypocrisy because does he? Are those even your views?
No,
Why? It doesn't-
Kanye didn't say
You
that
can
he
res-
shared this. Kanye didn't say he shared the same views with Trump. His thing with Trump is the way. I guess the reason why he likes Trump is because Trump
the way
says
he got in
whatever he
office.
But
wants.
he's damn near
I guess in
endorsing
theory that's
him.
nice, but the person, I can't overlook that.
Okay,
I don't see
okay.
how someone can
I
overlook
understand what he's saying. Like, by all means, everybody have their own fucking opinions. Like, my last boyfriend voted for Trump, and yeah, guys, he voted
That's why
for
he's
Trump.
the last boyfriend.
Yeah, that wasn't the reason, but it caused issues. Okay, but no, like he voted for Trump. His family's Republican. He's Republican. Whatever. Like we just avoided those conversations.
The one with the racist parents?
Generally, yes.
Ah!
Yeah, I know. But guys, my point is here is that like you can respect somebody's views and respect the person
Yeah.
without endorsing them.
Yeah.
Like
That's
this
basically what he
nigga
did.
went big. Yeah, this dude went around wearing his fucking "Make America Great Again" hat
For weeks.
for weeks, for months at a time, like literally posting it with pictures with Trump and doing all this when he doesn't legitimately think he's doing shit to help the black community.
So let me ask
either.
y'all. Is Kanye canceled for you guys? 'Cause
No, not at all.
I've been wanting to ask y'all. We've touched on this, but we haven't had the full conversation.
I have never really been a Kanye fan anyway.
Oh, really? I
to
have.
me, it doesn't even really matter. I don't even say I cancel people. I just don't. If I already don't care about you,
It's not an announcement.
It's not that big of a
Because
deal.
I feel like we and our generation, we love announcements. So I feel
Yeah.
like cancel
Because we
culture
like retweets and likes.
right.
Yeah, so I feel like
yeah.
cancel culture for us is a big announcement. Like Darian said, like if I don't like you, I'm just gonna stop listening to you. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
announce it to everybody.
Hell
But
no.
people who participate in cancel culture will be on Twitter and Facebook, canceled.
It's performative.
in all caps.
Like, why do you care so much? Like, nobody really gives a shit that you think that this nigga is canceled.
Here's the issue with canceling people, quote unquote canceling people, right? It's the same issue when Kaepernick announced his fucking Nike deal and all the white ragers started boycotting Nike and
chuckled 'cause they got
burning
their money.
burning their
Right.
shoes and flushing down their shoes that they had
First
already
of all, if you
purchased
You know how
from
many
the
people
Foot Locker.
probably is probably gonna start buying Nike because of that, and also, you know how much Nike could give two fucks about the shoes you already bought?
but nigga,
Oh my god!
first of all, if you're gonna cancel somebody, do it right.
I say that exactly. I say that to say that nobody in this country anymore knows how to effectively boycott, because you use the word boycott in that definition.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knows how to nobody knows what the fuck that word means anymore.
Not since I would say civil rights. Not
right,
since
whenever
then.
they
We-
start boycotting
Right.
buses,
We don't
who
actually know.
does that?
We don't actually know how to effectively boycott anything.
because it's uncomfortable for us.
Much
boycotting,
less-
boycotting requires sacrifice.
It
Oh,
requires
right,
us
right.
to stop participating in a service that we enjoy.
Enjoy, yeah.
So it's not possible to cancel a motherfucker. Kanye was canceled, whatever, and then Ye, his newest album came out and it did quite well.
Yeah.
It did like 210K, like first week sales. The nigga's not canceled, right? We can't cancel huge industries because it takes too much work and niggas are not actually prepared because niggas only
With
care.
what organization are we doing this?
Thank you. Niggas only care for a week. Until it's not popular on Twitter anymore, and then it's over.
That's whatever.
We cannot cancel these big name artists because even if all four of us in this room decided right now we were never going to support Kanye West music ever again, so
His life will go on.
there are hundreds of
Money.
thousands of his fans who have been fans of him since the
808s
jump.
and Heartbreak.
Okay, since fucking College Dropout, it's not possible to cancel anybody. Stop listening to music if you want to, but don't call it canceling because
and don't put on a show either.
you canceling them is not hurting Kanye West pockets.
Yeah.
The only I think that we have effectively canceled Azalea Banks. because
it took a celebrity to do it, a big celebrity to do it.
she has. Well, I think Rihanna was part of it, but
yeah, she definitely put
but
a nail in that coffin.
A lot of people were not agreeing with the things that Kanye was saying either, and shit has really not affected him at all either.
And so that's where I mentioned sexism.
I was gonna ask, is it male versus female?
Because she really went down, and
The
Kanye's
line
still
moves
growing.
around, right? So Kanye West is this black man who we revere or whatever, and a lot of people quite literally view him as a god. Meanwhile, Azalea Banks is just this fucking black woman who need to watch her motherfucking mouth and blah, blah, blah. Black women oftentimes are not afforded the same amount of space for fuck-ups that everybody else in this goddamn country is. Because y'all are angry and because
we're
whatever.
loud.
Y'all are just straight up not allowed the same amount of room. I could say a million problematic things on this podcast every fucking time we get up in here. And if this ever gets big, I could get canceled and then come back here and say the same exact shit. Y'all niggas aren't going to do shit to me.
It's likely we
Promise.
could get fired. Think about how many people in the media, mostly,
that's gonna be my next
but
point.
also
That's gonna be my next
mostly
point.
like whenever a white conservative woman says something,
Tommy Lauren.
and then or like the one
Laura
who
Chin, too.
the one who said
Fuck
she
her.
didn't have a problem with blackface.
Yeah. What was
What was her name?
Megan
Laura
Kelly?
Ingram?
Laura Engler? Wait, they're all the
was-
same to me.
They're all blonde to
Girl,
blue eyes. It's
right?
okay. It's
Yeah.
okay.
On
Either way, I'm
CBS.
saying is like they
Megan
were real
Kelly.
quick to be like, okay,
Oh.
you're fired
Her-
for
I think
it's
saying
Megan
that. You know what I
Kelly,
mean?
yeah.
They're
They
real
both
quick
say
to
some
be like,
fucked
you
up
need to
shit.
be fired. Or the same thing where if an African American woman would do that, look at Tamar Braxton off of The Real. Who
Tamar,
knows what happened?
There was a girl who got fired from ESPN.
Shoot. What is
Jamel
it?
Hill.
Yeah,
Thank you,
Jamel.
fucking Jamel Hill.
But she's coming up though, so
She is.
you know,
I
But what
still
I'm saying
follow
is
her
that they're
everywhere.
really quick, as you were saying with sexism, they're really quick to be like, okay, we can't have this. But they're real quick to defend a man who says something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like crazy.
5,000%.
And that's
Because
why
we're women, we're not allowed to speak
and-
our minds the same way in the same space.
And that's why cancel culture scares me because, that's going to be my next point with cancel culture. Like, let's say whatever field we get into, let's say I get big in podcasting, TV, whatever. Darren becomes a successful writer. Justin becomes a music critic. JoAnn climbs the corporate ladder, becomes a huge executive.
She
Whatever.
becomes Oprah.
Whatever we all do, let's say we're big at what we do, and this is the internet. We're on Spotify, we're on Apple, we're on Google. People will be, if they want to find us, they can find us. So let's say we get 5-10 years from now, we get big in whatever we do. People find us, and I say some problematic stuff. That's why cancel culture says so much, and I don't censor myself on this podcast, but I do think about what I'm going to say and how I'm going to say it, because a lot of times there are plenty of examples on radio alone where somebody has said something and it's become like a huge thing and they become canceled or not, but like
Charlamagne talked about on his motherfucking podcast about raping a girl, and it's fine.
Right.
He's
What's
totally
the Brilliant
fine.
Idiots with?
Yeah.
Andrew?
He literally told the story about how he raped a girl.
But like that's
and
what I'm
everybody's
saying.
like, fucking Charlamagne, man.
Right, but like let's say like me or Daryl or whoever, like I'm it is a fear of mine that I could say something one time and it could be misconstrued, or maybe I didn't get my point across right, which happens to everybody. But because we are in this space, now my whole career is done. Just like that. Like
that tweet that I sent y'all a couple days ago, everyone is problematic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I hate that. Oh, I'm unproblematic. No, the fuck you're not.
Yeah.
Like nobody is, because humans
what
are
I say to
inherently
that-
flawed.
And everybody
It doesn't
has
even-
different opinions to the point where somebody is
What is
going
problematic?
to somebody is going to disagree with something you say. It could be something so simple as yogurt tastes good. No,
Yeah.
it doesn't. To me, it doesn't.
You can't please everybody.
Right, and that's what
like
I'm
if
saying
you try
is,
to
like,
go
it's
around
all
and like
different.
censoring yourself, like you're gonna make yourself crazy. You have to just live in your truth, and people are gonna either deal or not, and that's not your motherfucking
Yeah.
concern.
no.
But it is my concern if I get fired or if I lose my coin because of something that I say
But
though.
it's specifically it's you.
You
I'm
know,
not
to
worried
me-
about
Yeah.
you
Oh,
saying
yeah.
I
something
feel like I would be
that.
more
You'll be
scared.
fine.
I would be more scared for Justin.
I'm getting fired. And
because,
Really?
because you don't say off the wall shit, Eric.
Yeah.
I
and
just
you
think
also
like,
give a fuck about what these niggas think.
grounded.
I don't give a fuck. I say faggot and nigger all the fucking time, and I dare one of these niggas to say something to me about it. First off, I'm black, suck my dick. Second off, I'm gay, suck a bouquet of dicks. I can say nigger and faggot, and I'm also half Latino, so I can say a lot of other different slurs too. I say that shit as a power move.
Yeah.
You don't say it because I get exactly why you don't say it. But
Yeah.
I literally, every time I say shit, I'm like, I double dog dare you to do something to me.
And honestly, so sometimes I wish I had the confidence. I feel like the more I hang out with you, I will.
I just don't give a fuck about what these niggas think, bro.
Yeah, and I am trying to get to a
So
point
simple.
where I'm at that point in life where I'd be like, you know what? This is my power. So I feel like the more I hang out with y'all, I just will. But I'm at a point in life where like I've seen so many people get canceled, lose jobs, lose opportunities, lose whatever because of one thing they said, one moment, literally
5,000%.
lost it, and they literally lost it all. And that's like terrifying to me as a media person. You can literally lose it all off of one thing you said. Like that's crazy to me.
There are some things I would think you should take into consideration when considering others. So like like the thing with the whole blackface thing. I wouldn't necessarily. Why would you think it'd be okay to say that?
Of course.
Like you knew
What network was she on when she said that shit?
Fox?
Was she on Fox?
Oh, well, that's why. The fuck?
Yeah.
I mean, that's why she said it, but I'm surprised they fired her because this last girl
True.
out here talking about Nipsey Hussle and them sharing the Fuck Trump song.
Oh no, that wasn't cool.
And fuck
That-
Donald Trump, by the way.
But at the same time, like, that's what you're going to post about him?
Yeah.
This man who's been out here trying to bring up his community, that's what you're going to fucking talk about on the news?
He was
Fuck
trying to
you.
do some shit.
Also, she
bro.
was on NBC when she said that.
Oh, was she? Okay.
Wait, who are we talking about?
Megyn
That's why
Kelly
she
and
got
the
fired.
blackface comments.
Because Fox doesn't fire
Megyn
people
Kelly.
for that shit.
Yeah, NBC don't play that.
Megyn Kelly would have been on Fox and they'd be like, "Oh my God, here's $20,000 more dollars."
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that about blackface.
Yeah,
We've
NBC
all
don't
they
play
been
defend
NBC
them.
don't play that.
Oh, yeah, no.
NBC. do
Well,
not
That
play
makes
that.
more
Not
sense.
NBC.
They
That makes
pretend
more
not to
sense.
play that, right? Because
As to why she was
they
fired.
fully knew
They
that
know
Matt
their
Lauer was a
audience.
sexual predator.
Who fully knew?
The niggas at NBC.
Okay, so yeah.
Also,
You feel what I'm
Brian-
saying?
I feel like, but the thing is with him doing that, apparently the people who worked in close vicinity to him didn't know, but like
I think that's bullshit.
I feel like the people under him, I don't know.
How are people close to you don't know? The people who
Matt
are close to
Lauer.
you
Matt
don't
Lauer
know.
was the biggest personality on Today's Show since I was like an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
My
Oh,
nigga.
for longer.
There's
shit.
quite
I
literally
was
no
longer
way
watching
that
shit
nobody
for a
knew
long
that
time.
shit was going on.
And is he affected? Because Matt Lauer's not on TV, so he was effectively canceled, right?
Well,
I mean, I don't hear about him anymore.
I personally have heard that he's on his way back to networks.
Really?
That's why I'm saying none of this cancel shit is real. My nigga Louis C.K. I don't know if y'all are familiar
Yeah.
with him, the comedian or whatever.
I am.
During the start of the Me Too, and I have to preface this by saying Louis C.K. was one of my favorite comedians and like one of the beacons as to like why I think I can like direct TV because of him or whatever the fuck. He was like doing some really gross shit like masturbating in front of women and shit like that, like during the Me Too movement and shit, and he got called out for it and was like, oh yeah, it fucking happened. And so he got quote unquote canceled. But then what happened 3 months ago from when I'm talking right now, the nigga is back on comedy tours. Canceling is not real, bro.
You know what though? And
But
go ahead, JoAnn.
specifically for your Matt Lauer thing, they say that ever since he's been ousted, like from the Today Show, over the sexual behavior allegations, that he's been keeping a low profile, and he's currently going through a divorce with his wife.
Yeah, nobody's saying
And
that
that
nowhere.
the CNN chief and former producer, he said that Matt Lauer won't be making a comeback to CNN. He don't know what the fuck he about to do, but
Oh, period.
I
But
can't, I can't
effectively
imagine how he could come
canceled.
back from that. He legitimately had a button under his desk in his office
Right.
that locked
Had
the
a-
door
on some
so people
dungeon
couldn't
shit.
get out.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean?
But-
They gave him a lot of leeway. And if you guys have ever noticed, there have been things that he's said to women during interviews.
My mom told me the same
that
thing.
that made you be like, well, why would you say that?
My mom told me the same
And
thing.
I feel like, but then there's just this thing about when you're so big in the media.
Do you think
and-
can't nobody touch you?
Yeah.
You think can't nobody
Because
touch you?
nobody
And
can.
Until they touch you.
and nobody did until multiple women came forward. And if it wasn't for the Me Too movement, who's to say this nigga wouldn't
Yeah.
have been fired?
But no, Justin, back to what you were saying about Louis C.K. and the whole sexism thing. So Louis C.K. did all that. He's on his way back. Kathy Griffin, who
Yeah,
Yeah.
who I'm like fervently in support of.
Me
Well, she said
too.
some
I
fuck
like
shit
her.
after that
too.
bullshit.
She's like
me
crazy.
too.
But,
no,
like-
Kathy Griffin. So listen, Louis C.K. was talking about some irrelevant nonsense.
He
Kathy
was
Griffin.
his comedy was awful. By the way, he was.
Kathy
No, I
Griffin.
never found him
Kathy
funny.
Griffin was actually doing some like real stuff. Like she said something like, no, what she did was first of all, she's a comedian now. Preface this,
Yeah.
she's a comedian. So she got like one of those Trump heads. She like got some ketchup or some red, and like basically held the head up with some fake blood and
Right.
whatever. And,
I remember that.
And you know, after that, she was canceled, not by us, by Trump.
No.
So
and the Republicans.
So,
And also,
so
though,
sensitive, fucking snowflakes.
worth mentioning, a lot of liberal publications told her that wasn't okay to do. A lot of liberal publications was like, that bullshit was too far.
Yeah.
You know, we should still respect our
but I
president.
feel
and
like
blah,
if
blah,
it
blah,
were
blah,
any
blah.
male comedian, it would
They
have been
weren't doing that
fine.
shit when Obama was
No,
president.
but
So let's think
also,
about that.
what did Kathy do?
I've seen a lot of
Unfortunately,
editorial cartoons depicting President Obama in a negative
As
light.
monkeys.
when
As monkeys,
yeah,
with
when
slaves,
when that
like,
nigga,
chains around their neck.
There was
Yeah.
a video
Horrible.
of protesters using a black doll and lynching it
Mm-hmm.
with fire. And they're screaming, "Not my president!" But as soon as Donald Trump comes in, they want to be like, "But he's still your president."
So you gotta respect him.
So
Suck my dick, nigga.
Stop being a hypocrite.
Yeah, but so what I'm saying about Kathy Griffith is though, like, so Louis C.K. can say all that stuff, whatever, he fine. But Kathy Griffith has been, first of all, literally, because I was watching literally the most fascinating interview with the Breakfast Club, because she was saying all the things she went through since that happened. Literally, she was like on the do not fly list for Hellas. She was literally
the
she
Trump
was,
thing?
yeah, she was saying, and now that she
Niggas
can't,
were mad.
now that she can't
So
fly,
mad.
no, she was saying now that she can fly, she is detained at every airport she goes
Fucking
to.
A,
like
bro.
she literally, she was
Assholes.
in like Hong Kong, Japan, somewhere in like Asia, somewhere out of the country, and she was literally in the airport like prison little thing for like
Right.
a minute. They were
Right.
like literally like interrogating her. You know what I mean? Like she's been through so much. Like she does still do little comedy tours, whatever, but it's not nearly to the extent of what she was. I'm not saying she was like this hugely popular comedian, but like she was on shows.
She was popular to me.
Yeah, she was doing stuff. So, and
I was always aware of Kathy, like
yeah.
always.
Yeah, and now that she does this, you know, she had that thing with the Trump head, like she's canceled. But, you know, it goes back to what you and Justin were saying about the sexism, because Louis C.K. or literally any other male comedian can say whatever, and it's kind of like, it's like, oh, don't do that, but, you know, they're fine. But
Yep.
Kathy Griffin...
Also, a side note, I love her little tagline that she does for Donkey of the Day. Please give this giant jar of mayo the biggest hee-haw.
Giant jar of mayo. All right, y'all. So let's wrap up by sharing our obsessions really quickly.
Who wants to go?
I can go.
Go ahead.
I'm obsessed with this book that I'm about to start. It's by Michael Palmer. It's called The Fifth Vial. It was talking about like how when you go give blood or something, how they take different vials, but like there's this fifth vial, and like it's used by rich white people to see like if they need a donor for some specific like a body part or something. Like they could just track you down through this like system through this fifth vial. So I'm excited to start that book.
Okay. Justin?
I recently finished a show on HBO called Westworld, which I find to be just the most brilliant piece of television since Breaking Bad.
Love that show.
It is about it's set in like the near future or whatever, and these niggas make an amusement park, but it's like an immersive amusement park filled with all these like robots or whatever.
But they look just
that
like
are dressed like
people.
cowboys, and they look just like you and me, right? They look and act just like people. But it's an amusement park in which humans like us could go and interact with these niggas in this West world, this Wild West world, like cowboys and shit, like as it's just like in the Wild West. All this crazy shit starts happening. Personally, I think, and me and you can talk about this later, I think it's an allegory for slavery, quite literally.
Yeah.
Because it's like the loss of bodily autonomy and like, am I a real person because I think I am, or because like these niggas tell me I'm a real person? How much of my actions are my own and how much of them are quite literally written out in a script for me and type shit like that. They're on break for season right now, but I've watched the fucking season trailer for 3, which airs next year. Did you watch that shit, Joe? With Aaron Paul and Kid Cudi.
Oh, I gotta get on that.
Oh, girl. Yeah, I'm excited. If you have HBO, watch that shit. If you don't have HBO, I'll give you the fucking password to my dad's shit, bro.
Oh, good enough, 'cause I do.
shit.
I want my Insecure, so
I
yes,
do have
please
HBO,
do.
so I'll have to think about that.
Okay,
But,
go ahead.
So you go first. There.
Okay, so my obsession is the mood for the whole summer. Megan Thee Stallion
Yes!
came out with her album, and it's such a mood because let me tell you
I forgot
something
all about
about these male rappers. Like these male rappers literally say
Right.
all kind of stuff about, you know, their own pleasure and
These
money.
bitches.
Yeah, but shout out to Megan Thee Stallion for having the same energy. I mean, she's not the first female rapper to do it, but like shout out to her for having the same energy. Like the whole vibe of the album is, you know what? Yes, you know, if you want to be with me, you can, but I don't need you. B, you know, if you want to, if you want to spend time with me, you gonna have to drop some money. Like
And
I'm
you
not.
also need to make me come. Period.
Period. Okay, ain't no faking around here. Okay, and you know if you want to spend time with me, you gotta make it worth you. Gotta make it worth my while. You know what I'm saying? The album is so great. Shout out to her. Shout out to Juicy J. Juicy J produced a lot of the songs, and
He did a good job.
he did such a good job. You know, and I just feel, you know, I hope Megan Thee Stallion is around for a minute.
Me
So,
too.
Yeah, shout out to her. It's called
Fever.
Fever. Yep, it's
I
a
heard
good.
she
Yeah.
made $36K her first week.
Good
Oh,
for her.
period.
Good for her.
No, it's good so far, and
I
I think
love
my
it.
favorite one is Cash Shit.
Yes.
I love
I'm up
that
in my
one.
bag, but I'm up in his too, and that's why every time you see me, I got a new pair of shoes.
Yes.
Oh, I love it.
Oh my god.
is. All right,
fine as wine.
Take
us home.
Okay. So the shit I have been watching on Netflix that I really love, I think y'all should give a chance. It's called this show called Sex Education.
Yes!
Have you seen it?
Oh God, it's such a
I
good
haven't
show.
seen it, but I've scrolled past
I've heard
it.
of
It's so funny.
It's so good.
It gives me like a Big Mouth vibe.
Have you seen it?
No, but
Okay,
I know
so
the
it's
premise.
really
I know
so
the premise.
I'll just tell you what it's about essentially. So basically, this boy is his mom is a sex guru or
like a sex therapist. or
yeah,
something.
and so she has no issues like being open and fluid, I guess.
a little bit too open.
Yes,
with-
and too fluid.
Of
Even
course.
with like her son, because he's having issues masturbating, and so like she's trying to like have a conversation with him about it, and he's like, "No, don't want
we're
to."
not talking about
But
it.
you get as you watch it, you go into like details and underlying issues as to why he can't masturbate.
And all
Oh,
these
okay.
other this shit.
There's a lot of different things too. It's like it's funny because he and this girl kind of get together and they start having people pay them to talk about
their sex
their
issues.
sex
So
issues,
he
yeah.
hates that his mom is a sex therapist, but becomes the school's low-key
Yes.
sex therapist.
Yes.
Okay.
And like
Sounds like
legitimately.
a hustle. He make money.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
they get
they're
paid.
literally charging niggas.
this is
Yeah, so
beautiful.
it's him
It's
and
such
this
a good
girl,
show.
and it's oh my god, it's so good. And so they pretty much help these essentially like 16, 17,
Mm-hmm.
18-year-olds have sex the right way, and they find ways to like help them have better sex, like finds ways to have girls like actually get off,
I
and
have
it's
to
to have
watch
guys
that.
like please the girl,
And it's gay inclusive.
Yeah.
There's several episodes with like same-sex couples, and it's just like I was like,
Oh, that makes my heart happy.
it's so cool because I was like, damn, like we can be included in these conversations too without it being this big fucking weird
Weird.
like
shit
everyone
thing.
has.
but
sex.
it's like so entertaining, and I hope that they come out with a season 2 because like the way it ended, y'all need a season 2.
I'm definitely gonna have
It's
to
a
watch it.
great show.
Okay.
It really is.
Most definitely. All right, y'all. That was our show for today. Thank you for tuning in and hanging out with us for the last 2.5 hours. If you are at this point of the episode, thank you for sticking with us. We'll see y'all in a couple of weeks. And you know what? I'm not going to end the show with saying don't be unproblematic. You know what? Well, first of all, follow us on Instagram. It's in our bio.
First and foremost.
Follow us on Instagram. We're going to come up with the For the Record Instagram soon. So follow that soon. But you know what? Don't be unproblematic, okay? Be problematic. Do not be afraid to say what you think. Be as problematic as you would like to
And
be.
try to be as best as you can.
Yes. If you're going to be problematic, be the best problematic person you can be. All right, y'all. See y'all later.